They said white ring 3 times a world.
Higher, faster, stronger, the Olympic creed. The West may have won the Cold War, but the Russians still dominate on ice. In the pairs, they captured gold and silver. Since 1964, their gold medal streak continues. Ilya Kulik won for his countrymen a 3rd straight Olympic gold medal. And in ice dancing, the Russians have won 6 of 7 times since 1976. The reasons are varied. Perhaps it's the coaching or their disciplined practices that make them the best. Their inherent love for ballet gives them the artistic edge to set them apart from other skaters. Without question, the Russians know what it takes to win in figure skating. But so do a couple of American teenagers that are poised to end Russia's dominance. The USA's Golden Girls today on the Cutting Edge. Hi everyone, and welcome to the practice rink, which is right next door to White Ring, where the skaters have been making their home and where we've made our home here on the Cutting Edge. I'm Alice Cook with Rosalynn Sumners and Peter Carruthers. The dance event is history, and it's all Pasha, Pasha, Pasha.
Well, she certainly didn't let us down in the drama. I think she's already on a plane to Hollywood at this point.
I'll tell you, the end of the program last night where she started crying, the drama of it all, it was amazing. But when you look at the skating, that was pretty terrific. What they put down on the ice, Grishuk and Platov, was incredible.
The Russian dominance, why is it?
Alice, I have a theory on this, and whether you're talking about pair skating or ice dancing, I think what happens in Russia is that, for example, a young man grows up taking dance lessons before they even get on the ice, whereas in our country, in North America, we're playing football, baseball, soccer, whatever. So they have that advantage as far as really having that depth within the dance and the feeling and the emotion. So when they do get on the ice, they have a little bit of an edge. So really, it has to do with what goes on before they even start skating.
Well, the American team, Liz Punsel and Jared Swallow, placed 7th, but some people prefer that traditional style.
Well, they got my thumbs up. I mean, they have such a classic, beautiful lines, and it's fresh. After all the theatrics and all the drama, it's just nice to see. And they have such emotion. It's real emotion between them. I mean, it's not acting. It's not fake. So they were my favorites of the night, actually.
You know, you are so right, because what it comes down to, if ice dancing is to remain a sport, you have to really have some guidelines and parameters. And the way they took the tango and expressed that dance, the interpretation was wonderful, the depth and the edges, the timing that they had, all put together was a complete package. And I think if ice dancing is to go in any direction, it really should go in the direction that Swallow and Punsel put it.
Yeah.
Well, everyone may not agree, but there was little debate in the judges' minds. Pasha and Evgeny were first on all the judges' cards. So why don't we take a look now? Here's how Peter and Rosalynn called their free dance.
With all the intricate footwork, they both maintain a solid upper body balance the entire time. She at point seeming stronger than he is.
Look at the twizzles. This is so hard to do because you can lose your balance at any moment, and she's really got them mastered.
Again, everyone talking about how impossible it is to have a surprise switch in the top 3, and yet they were the impossible surprise in Lillehammer, beating out Usova and Zulin and Torvill and Dean for the gold medal.
A twist within that lift, that is legal. A lot of difficulty in this performance. You can just see the steps and how difficult they are. Pasha Grishuk and Evgeny Platov have completed their free dance. Through it all, one of the most chronicled skaters. There she is, typical to be in some kind of state.
I give up. I just give up. I mean, what more can you say about her? She's obviously auditioning for the Hollywood career that she so desperately wants.
Pasha and Evgeny, thank you for being with us, and congratulations. Evgeny, you said that you called your mother after the performance. Tell me about that conversation.
You know, I called right away. When we finished, after maybe 15 minutes, I called Mom, and you know, I expect to just say, Mom, we won. But you know what I hear? Oh my God, you won! Congratulations! Screaming, crying. Mom, how you know? You're from KGB. I say, where are you from? Cheeseburger, how you know? She said, I know everything already. So many people called right away.
Wow, that's great. Pasha, you were so emotional after the performance. You were crying. What was going through your mind then?
Well, everything what we went through, and maybe all my life, and all these 20 years to be in figure skating, and it's just been very emotional for me.
Has she always been this emotional, Evgeny?
Yeah, she's very emotional, and you know, but when we finish our program, I cannot explain how I felt. It's just great, you know, it's relief. It's everything what we try to do is done, and it's absolutely amazing feeling.
Mm-hmm. Your coach threw some water on you before you skated?
She calmed down
Why?
a little bit. I was maybe a little bit over exciting, and she said, you know, I can do some mistakes in this kind of feeling, and she threw me water on my face, on my shirt. Oh my God, what are you doing? I'm wet. How can I skate right now? Feel not very good, not aesthetic. And she calmed down me a little bit, so she did a great move.
Was this gold medal more difficult to win than the last one? Evgeny has had some surgeries. How would you compare the two?
Well, it was extremely difficult, and it was a lot of pressure, not from, you know, somebody else, not the front competitors, just from us, because we realized that we have to do our best, we have to skate clean, we have to show our best performance out there, and you know, we were nervous for sure, and but we could handle it, and it's fabulous. We're so happy.
Well, we know that you want to go to Hollywood and become an actress.
Yes.
What is that going to do to your skating career?
Well, we're certainly gonna skate professional, and you know, enjoy it, because we really love skating and skate together, and we really enjoy it. It's our life to skate. But I also wanted to be an actress. I have a contract with ICM. I signed it last year, and my agent is Jill Smoller and Jack Gilardi. And I'm just really looking forward to do it.
Mm-hmm. Evgeny, what if she skates off to Hollywood? What will you do? Will you be left behind?
I go to the gym, build big muscles, and be her bodyguard.
Ooh, that's nice.
That's a great,
I like that. I'll need one.
That's a great idea. Well, there's been a lot of talk about the name change from Oksana to Pasha. We've done a little research, and we're told that Pasha is actually a boy's name. Is that true?
No, it's not true. It's a woman name.
What's
woman's
it mean?
name. It's mean Praskovia. It's a very old Russian name, and it's a very feminine name. You know, I'm sure that whoever know that, they will realize that it's a very feminine name, and I love that name, and I think it's reflect my personality. I don't know. It was big risk what I did in the beginning of season, in the Olympic year, right before Olympics, and a lot of people wasn't sure if I must do it or not. So, but I was positive. I was in peace with my decision, and I knew that I have to do it right now.
And now the name Pasha will go down in Olympic history.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Let me tell you about
Thank you.
Pasha. In Russia, it's so was famous name Pasha, and all grandmas, many women have it. They call them Aunt Pasha. like ankle, Ant,
Aunt Pasha.
and Pasha. So many. So it's a very famous name in Russia.
Thank you for that information. And thank you for being with us. Congratulations once
Thank you
again.
very much.
So far on The Cutting Edge, we've given you an up-close and personal crash course in paralifts and jumps. Now Roz and Peter are going to take you back to school again to unlock the secrets of skating's most ignored elements, the different kinds of spins.
Okay, the most asked question in skating is how does a skater not get dizzy when you're spinning?
Roz, that is the $10,000 question. And actually, when you learn how to spin, you do get dizzy at first. And really, the dizziness is the brain's way of panicking to something that's wrong. But eventually, it relaxes and accepts the condition. And it's similar to that of, like, say, a sailor getting his sea legs together, or a jet fighter pilot getting used to the G-force in an airplane. And I'll tell you, if we take 2 weeks off from spinning, we get dizzy too.
So why doesn't a skater spot while spinning as a ballet dancer does? Well, for starters, a ballet dancer spins much slower, having time to find a focal point. A skater is spinning much faster, and if they were to spot, they would strain their neck. So what we do is we focus inward, finding the balance through the body down into the ball of the foot.
Let's take the basic scratch spin. The first thing we do is we find a pole, like an axis, running straight down through our body. That's what we rotate around. Now, how do we make the spin go faster? What happens is you bring the arms and leg in together. That changes the polar moment of inertia, and that's the force that makes the spin go faster. And Scotty Hamilton had it mastered at the '84 Olympics.
Now, if the skater isn't completely centered and balanced as Peter was talking about on the axis, the spin will start to travel across the ice as opposed to staying in one place. Now, in a big arena, you might not notice the skater moving, but the judge is focusing on the feet, and the turns that the blade is making on the ice will travel, and in the short program, that is a deduction. And as our camera stays in place, notice how Tara Lipinski's layback travels. Now we're going to talk about some of the different spin positions, starting with the beautiful classical layback spin that the ladies will be performing in the short program as a required element. First thing the skater learns is the leg position. Free leg comes up and back with a turned out thigh, knee, and a pointed toe. The higher the leg in the back, the better. Then they learn the back position. It's not just the neck that drops back. Starting from the base of the spine, the skater learns to drop the entire back. Now, a skater gets dizzier in this position because they're turning upside down. What the judges are looking for, of course, are the leg position and the position of the back. Now, the arms, whether they're up or whether they're down or whether they're moving or out, that is the skater's choice. A look at the different positions across the body, up in front, and of course, Dorothy Hamill's classic layback.
Well, thank goodness guys don't have to do the layback spin, but something men and ladies perform, the sit spin, and this is recognizable for obvious reasons. But let's break it down a little bit. The sit spin starts up here, and then it sinks down into the left knee. Now, what makes it more difficult? If a skater stays here, that's okay, but if a skater gets all the way down to this position, that makes it more difficult. And I wonder if I can even get up from this position, because you can see that it takes many years to build up the left thigh just to get there. John Curry takes it to a nice sit spin position, but Eldredge goes even lower.
And now the camel spin. Once that skater finds the center of balance, skater starts on a bent knee, slowly rising into a straight knee, and at the same time as the skating leg straightens, the free leg comes up basically into a spiral position. Now what the judge is looking for, leg extension, a straight knee, a pointed toe, and not a flat back or a drooped back, but an extended back position with the head up as well. Nicole Bobek doing a flying camel, which is the exact same position. It just starts with a jump to the opposite foot.
Now take all of these spins that we've talked about in different positions, put it together and you have a combination spin. And a combination spin is really hard because you're changing feet and you're changing position. And what can go wrong during that? Well, number one, you can lose your balance, and number two, the speed can really drop off within the spin. So it takes so much time in practice to perfect these spins and really do them well when you're under the gun in competition. Tara's got it together. Camel spin, sit spin, lay back, back sit, right on the money.
And it's not just jumps that the skaters are practicing for so many years, it's also these spins, and they take so long to master.
Yeah. Are you dizzy?
All this information, I'm definitely dizzy.
That's because you're blonde.
Well, spins are just one of the 8 elements judges will be looking for in the ladies' short program. But who are these judges that everyone is always talking about? Well, with us today is Olympic judge Jean Senft from Canada with a behind-the-scenes look at what goes on the other side of the boards. Welcome, Jean.
Hello.
So the ladies' short program is coming up.
Yes.
And we're going to take a look at some of the elements through your eyes.
Okay.
Now, for starters, 6.0 is a perfect mark. What is the base mark you start from before the deductions?
It absolutely depends on the skater's performance. The first skater comes out and sets the standard around which all other skaters are placed, above or below that standard. The base mark is the mark that the performance would deserve without deductions.
And now, speaking of deductions, the most critical, if you would agree, is the combination jump.
Yes?
And that, for me, is the hardest to tell where the deductions come from because there are so many things that can happen.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
And I think I know I've made all those mistakes. Starting with what happens when the skater falls on the very first jump and omits the second part of the combination.
Then probably that's a 0.4 deduction. The maximum deduction is 0.5. That would only happen if both jumps were omitted. The first jump in this instance would have been attempted, but because they didn't complete it and the second jump didn't exist, it would be a 0.4.
Now, what happens if they fall on the second jump?
Probably a 0.3.
And how about if they do a turn in between the two jumps?
That's actually not as much of a problem as most people think. It's really only a 0.1 deduction.
Is that worse than, say, a hand down, which is very common?
They're actually very similar. A hand down or a foot down is a 0.1 to a 0.2 deduction, depending on how badly it's put down.
Now, when you say a foot down, is that actually sort of a cheat? Like I've seen on a triple Lutz, before the landing happens, the toe goes completely in the ice. Now, someone at home watching TV can actually see that without instant replay, but do you catch that?
Yes, you do catch that. And certainly you catch that when you go to practices. You can tell the skaters who always rely on that slight touchdown before they do the landing. And so you watch for that in the competition.
Now, how about on the double axel? In Sarajevo,
Yes.
I had skated a very clean program, and on the very end of the landing, I sort of brushed the free leg on the ice. And I was hammered. I mean, I was 5th in the short program. Why was that such a deduction when everything else had been clean?
Well, when you skated in Sarajevo, perhaps there was more attached to that kind of a fault. To me, in today's competition, it would be very minor. It would be a 0.1. It would be a simple touch. But perhaps you were a larger deduction was taken off at that time.
Well, I've always wanted to know that. Now, we've been talking about spins. I know
Yes.
there are obviously different positions, there are different changes of feet. Do you count every single rotation of the spin on each spin for every single skater?
Absolutely we do. And I know that sounds ominous, and it is a task. You have to keep your concentration. You're actually counting the number of revolutions in the spinning position. So if it's a sit spin, you don't start counting until they're right down in the sit position.
I see. There's footwork. I mean,
Right.
how do you tell the difference of difficulty in the footwork? Because there's so many different feet and edges. What do you say is the most difficult that you're looking at?
You'll look at speed. Speed is a factor. The faster, the better. You'll look at how intricate the footwork is, how many different changes of position there is. You'll also look to see if the skater's always rotating in one direction. If they rotate in both directions, that's more difficult.
And how do you keep track of all of this throughout the whole night?
It requires a lot of attention, a lot of focus. I really, truly feel that a judge has to be fit to be able to sit there for hours on end and keep that concentration.
Are you keeping notes?
Absolutely.
Because I actually, as a skater, I've looked up a few times and I've seen a judge with their head down, and you have that split second of thinking, well, they're not even watching. Is that true?
You try and you get very good at taking notes in small spaces without looking down.
Now, it's common for judges to come to practices to watch. do you prejudge the event?
No, you don't prejudge. You know why you don't prejudge? Because it never happens in competition like it happens in practice. The skaters who are brilliant in practice often don't skate well in competition, so you just cannot prejudge an event ever. Why you do go to practices is to understand the general level of skating, and you also go to see if there's anything new or unique that you should be able to analyze in advance and understand the difficulty factor, so that if it is performed well in the competition, you can give adequate credit for it.
But if there's that base mark that we were talking about, how come sometimes in the technical mark, not the artistic, because I know that's sort of a personal choice, how can there be, say, a 5.8 all the way down to a 5.4 if it was an obvious mistake with your obvious deductions? I mean, a lot of times...
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. I mean...
But we've seen it.
Well, if the base mark is a 5.8, then the deduction needs to come off that. If you're saying that one base mark is 5.8 and one is 5.4, that's fine, as long as the same deduction is taken from those base marks. If it's 0.4, then you should have 5.4 and 5.0.
And do politics play a part in all of this?
No, I don't believe they do. Particularly in single skating, I don't believe they do. I think it's black and white. The jump is either landed or it's not landed. Certainly there's a little bit of subjectivity in terms of the presentation mark, but I believe the deductions are very real, very objective, and I think it's judged extremely well.
Well, you've been a great help. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For Todd Eldredge, but he continues to practice behind us because he still has an exhibition to do. But we have to talk about the ladies. A couple of key withdrawals already.
Well, important. Tonya Shevchenko, who was in the hunt for the bronze medal, has had to pull out because of the flu. She missed at least 5 days of practices, and she just doesn't feel like she can compete up to her level. Now, Kristina Sacco of Hungary has had to pull out because of a broken foot. This is positive for Nicole Bobek, Lu Chen, Maria Butyrskaya, Surya Bonaly, because the bronze medal is wide open, and anyone can do that.
Okay, bronze medal. But let's talk about the gold medal. Is it a two-skater race?
There's a great opportunity there in the gold for sure. And will it be Tara Michelle, Michelle Tara? I hate to keep stating the obvious, but the obvious is that between those two skaters, their skill level and their artistry are far above anyone else in the field. You could basically throw a blanket over the two of them. And looking at the way they've been practicing out here, it's unbelievable. If they can compete the way they've been practicing, watch out. It's going to be a tremendous competition.
Well, the practices have been a lot of fun to watch. We've been to, I think, just about every one of them. So why don't we take a closer look at how the American ladies are practicing.
Nicole Bobek's earlier practices were shaky, but each day she's been getting stronger. Here, a beautiful double axel.
Well, she's really going to have to gain momentum, and it appears that she is. If she's going to be competitive with the top ladies, Roz, she's got to have perfection within her skating.
And her work ethic, though, isn't great. She doesn't do full run-throughs of her programs, which can affect her stamina and confidence at the time of the competition.
But 15-year-old Tara Lipinski is really the picture of consistency. I tell you, she does her program every day, and usually this is what we see. Triple Lutz, double loop, tremendous.
And no one can say she lacks anything artistically. Tara has worked so hard this year to skate bigger than 15 years old. Every toe pointed, everything down to the last fingertip. And she's having the time of her life here in Nagano.
Michelle Kwan, artistry, technical perfection right here, the triple Lutz, double toe loop, a softness to her skating that no other lady has. Truly the full package, and also someone that runs through her program every single day of practice.
And yet in the short program, her combination jump and required triple aren't the difficulty of Tara Lipinski's.
I think, Roz, because she knows she has that second mark nailed. That's the presentation mark. Beautiful layback spin.
Well, not only is Tara confident, but she's also relaxed. Here she's needle pointing and being interviewed at the same time.
What a way to escape. Turn her on the ice, though, and she's a fierce competitor. Welcome back to The Cutting Edge. Throughout these Winter Olympics, there are many stories of both the winners and losers in their respective sports. What remains constant in the Olympic experience is every athlete participating. The story of Stephen Cousins is an example of one such athlete living up to the Olympic ideal.
my job is to skate and to enjoy myself while I'm here. I've never been one that's like, I've got to win. It's for me, it's all the process. You know, if I can go through the ups and downs of my career, then the rest of my life is going to be a doddle. You know, I know I can handle anything. So for me, that's what this is all about.
This man has a lot of charisma, but for this short program, he is here to compete.
It's a great sense of excitement. Also, you're trying to tell yourself, you know, calm down, you gotta breathe, just breathe. Standing in my starting position just before the music starts, and as the music started, the starting time went 1, 2, and I could see the seconds ticking by, and I go, oh, it's going by quick already. And as I turn around, my next focus was on the Olympic rings. It says Nagano Olympic rings 1998 on the side of the board. So that was my focus for the next 35 seconds. And when I turned around to come back towards that, focused on that the whole time. And then in my mind, as I turned the corner, I said to myself, you can do it. And going into the combo, just as I was turning the corner, I said to myself, you know, you can do this just like practice. So as I stepped into the combo, I usually look down to make sure the ice is okay. Because sometimes it's a bit rutted, and it was a little rutted, so I waited just an extra foot or 2 before I jumped. And so I found myself closer to the boards than I would have liked to when I landed the axel. So I just did a double toe loop instead of a triple, but still it was a nice sense of relief afterwards knowing that it was done, and now I just had to focus on the next thing. Here's the whole deal for me on the Lutz. During the year, I have missed the Lutz once in practice. I would practicing. It's been going really well all the time. And then the one time I missed it, I was saying to myself, you know, you can't do this forever. You can't just keep landing. You can't just keep landing it. And then I fell. So then afterwards, this was about 2 weeks ago. Afterwards, I came back and then did the program right again, because I wanted to clear that from my mind and just say, okay, that was a once-off and I'm not going to do it again. So going into it again at the Olympic Games, my mind went back to that. And I said to myself, those are the exact thoughts I don't want. This is what I want to think, that I never miss it. And I went around and I did it. So I was playing some little mind games with myself going into it.
And the mind games obviously worked. Stephen placed a respectable 6th after the short program. But those weren't the only mind games clicking behind the scenes of the Olympics.
So now, after we've threatened the 1984 Olympic champion, we send up
Send
the
the
mail.
mail.
It's been sent, and within minutes we'll get a reply, because I know Scott actually camps out and sleeps right next to his email.
You are the email king.
Thank you.
But the email king did not send the message he wanted at the 1996 World Championship. 5th after the short program, in the free, he fell to the ice on jump after jump. Doubles became singles, and triples became doubles. The following season, despite 8 years as Great Britain's champion, he lost his national title to an inexperienced 17-year-old. After mediocre showings at the 97 Europeans and Worlds, some around the sport doubted Stephen would even earn a trip to Nagano.
I almost lost all my self-worth, and that was really weird for me, because
You?
Yeah.
Losing your self-worth?
Yeah, it was very, very strange. I felt like I was clutching at straws with everything, with myself, with people around me. It was very, very weird. And title or no title, you know, life is life, and you gotta have, you know, a good time. You gotta make sure that you spend it how you want to spend it, and be, you know, as good as you can be with whatever you do. Being in the final group, the Olympic Games, going into the long program, I don't care if I don't get a medal. I don't care if I don't skate great. I just care about being where I am and enjoying the moment. For me, just being there, just being able to say, you know what, I was in the last group with all these guys and I had a chance. That's enough for me.
On the ice, representing Great Britain, Stephen Carruthers.
In the free program, it would be Rhett Butler that would carry him through to the triple Lutz. No mind games there. Perfect. However, the triple axel would still haunt him.
All week, I've been skating great all the last 2 months. That's probably the worst program I've put together. So to put it together at the Olympics is a little annoying. So because I've been skating better than that, and I expected better of myself. But that's life.
And he would segue his on-ice character of Rhett Butler to off-ice humor.
Frankly, I don't give a damn.
Well, Steven's going to look back and have awesome memories of this experience. He's going to have a great professional career because he is such an entertainer. And really, when he looks back, not only is he going to have such pride, but he's going to be well-balanced and he's going to be sane. Unlike some of these skaters who are going for a gold medal and maybe come up short with a silver, and you spend the rest of your life wondering, was it a failure? Could I have done better? He's just going to have a great life ahead of him.
Be careful what you say about winning a silver medal.
Hey, I did too.
No, but he really does capture what the Olympic spirit is all about, and he may not have won a medal here, but I guarantee you he did win the gold medal in sportsmanship. And when I think back to my Olympic experience, that's the most important thing, the process, not necessarily the end result.
That's right. Well, Stephen Cousins wasn't the only skater who came to the Olympics not for a medal, but for the experience of his life. We tend to hear a lot about the big names, but right now the Cutting Edge would like to pay tribute to all the competitors, regardless of the final standings.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hang it on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos of memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.
Welcome to the Cutting Edge. I'm Alice Cook with a couple of Olympic silver medalists, Rosalynn Sumners and Peter Carruthers.
Okay, we know that we're Olympic silver medalists.
Yes, you are.
I know, you know, but I don't know that everybody out there knows that you also are a 76 Olympian.
Oh, no.
From the Innsbruck Olympics, pair skating. Awesome,
I was
Alice
there.
Cook. You were?
I wasn't a silver medalist, but I was there.
We got to get going again.
I've seen you sort of getting the itch to get back on the ice when you've been here.
Yeah, I might get right back out there when I get home.
Pairs 101, come
Double
on.
axles, let's go. Well, we have 3 phases of the competition that are complete, but the ladies still to go. And what an event this is going to be.
Well, we're heading into the short program, and all the ladies are finally here. But 2 days ago, Irina Slutskaya still hadn't showed up. Well, we found out that her coach was keeping her hidden because she had gained weight. Now, she's right at that age where her body is changing, and that's hard for these girls, especially when you're going into the Olympics and you want to be at your very best physical shape. So she's struggling a little bit.
Well, definitely the 3 ladies that are not in hiding are the U.S. team, Bobek, Kwan, and Lipinski. And again, it was after practice, and all the photojournalists were lined up alongside the boards, and they said, come on, you guys, get closer for a picture. So they did manage to get everybody together, but trust me, there was serious space in between each one of them. It just goes to show you that, hey, they are totally competitive. They're friends. I think they respect each other, but they're all fighting for the same goal. And Frank Carroll, coach of Michelle Kwan, after the practice said, remember, this is not the bobsled team that jumps into the sled and goes down the hill together. These ladies are competitive, and each one of them is trying to beat each other.
They're
and why
out for
not?
blood, boy.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you really can't blame the ladies for looking out for themselves. This is the Olympics, and it's serious business. Earlier, Peter sat down with ISU President Octavio Cinquantta for a glimpse at the inner workings of figure skating.
Thank you for joining us on The Cutting Edge, Octavio Cinquantta. And Octavio, what are you doing to keep the sport healthy for the viewer and the audience? For example, in ice dancing, I think there's some confusion as to how sometimes a couple can go out, fall down, and still win the competition. That didn't happen here at the Olympics, but it has.
Well, the problem of the fall, if in a technical sport like skating, you punish a skater because he falls, then you can really put the sport in trouble because nobody will attempt to do something new. Your question is anyway correct as far as ice dance is concerned, where is, let's say, not so easy to fall. In the case you fall, in my personal opinion, there should be maybe a deduction. And this is the direction maybe the members at the next Congress will look at.
So there now are mandatory deductions?
No, now there are not mandatory deductions for the fall. But there are rumors that maybe this will be introduced.
Yeah. Do you think ice dancing is in jeopardy of being taken out of sport?
No. Why?
No? Well, simply because of the confusion that it leaves with the audience at times. What really makes ice dancing a sport in your mind?
The principle that is make a sport for every sport. When an athlete participates better than another. The fact that the audience, that also, excuse me, with all respect, some journalists, they do not know the rules, is not the responsibility of the sport. This is our sport. In many sports you have pros and cons, strength and weakness.
Yes.
You may do many examples, you know. For sure, ice dancing is not perfect, but also other main sports are not perfect.
What do you think is the most critical element facing skating in the future of the ISU and figure skating?
The most critical, not only in the ISU in skating, but in general in sport, but I want to focus on, let's say, on my sport. I do not wish to interfere in other area, is that we are very close to a certain limit of in a technical element. Example, you can maybe perform a quadruple axel, maybe, or a quintuple toe loop. But after that, what can you do?
Yes.
A jump is a jump. And I think that the next frontier, the next development will be to change the format and the program of the competition, to create new format.
Yes. This is a personal question that I'm going to ask you. Do you feel that some of the clothing is inappropriate?
Some of?
Yes, some of the clothing is inappropriate that the skaters wear on the ice with the big chiffon draping down. Does it turn into theater after a while and not sport by the clothing that the skaters wear in some cases?
Well, you are very smart. You put this question to a former hockey player and speed skater, and I, let's say, agree with you. But I have been teaching that this is important because the costume is part of the presentation. So,
well, Octavio, we thank you very much.
Thank you to you.
Coming by today on the cutting edge, and you've done a lot of great things for the ISU, and best of luck in the future.
She's one of Russia's best bets to stop America's Golden Girls. Irina Slutskaya's Olympic quest next. The completion of a performance is the end of the skater's hard work, but the job's just begun for these angels on ice. The Flower Girls of Nagano are between the ages of 8 and 17, and all have at least 2 years skating experience. These lucky kids get to say they actually skated at the Olympics.
I love it. You know, those Flower Girls look no older than most of the medal favorites here. This really is a competition of teenagers. Although, unfortunately for Russia's Irina Slutskaya, this past year came with a lot of growing pains.
In a corner of the tiny one-room apartment that she shares with her parents in Moscow, Irina Slutskaya is surrounded by over 200 stuffed animals that she's either collected or been given since she started competing. Once a little girl's passion, her old friends are beginning to gather dust as Irina's attention is turning to more grown-up concerns.
Anyone who loves figure skating knows that I love stuffed animals. But the truth is, lately I'm beginning to outgrow them. They get in my way in bed now.
It wasn't by choice that she first put on a pair of skates. Suffering from poor health, doctors suggested outdoor activity to strengthen her as a child.
I can't tell you how much I hated skating. I just cried and behaved hysterically. I didn't want to go.
But her attitude changed as she improved. In addition to the health benefits, Irina began to see sport as a way to better her life and that of her family.
Sometimes I want to tear myself away and go have fun. I see other people having fun, going for a walk, going to a disco, and I sit and think, what do I need that for? Yes, a lot of people are having fun, but so what? I think I have more advantages. I will see the world.
A willingness to work hard is a necessity in post-communist Russia. Gone are the guarantees of jobs, food, security, a place in society. The old communist principles have been substituted by infant capitalism, where those willing to take the risks may be rewarded or thwarted like never before. Irina's mother, who works at a transportation company, saw the potential in her talented daughter and has nurtured it.
She wants to buy a new apartment for us. She works hard for it. She dreams of it. She skates to win. So if she comes in fourth, she cries. There go my plans.
It has not gone to plan for much of this season for Irina. Her Olympic berth was in jeopardy until January. But as she struggles to rebuild her skating, she is also in the midst of building a better life for her family. The promised apartment is still under construction, and with little time in between training sessions, Irina manages to do a bit of shopping with a friend to fill it. Much has changed in young Irina's life, both on and off the ice, and she's learning how to deal with it. It's a lot of pressure for a young woman who until recently was counting toys.
I think that everyone has times when they want to get away and be alone and drop everything. The main thing when that happens is not to fall into a pit. If you learn how to live life, then those times just pass you right by.
There's Irina on the ice right now practicing for the short program. And at the
names defined the games in Norway, Nancy and Tonya. Harding has always denied that she was involved at all in that pre-Olympic attack on rival Kerrigan, but as CBS News correspondent Harry Smith reports, plenty of people still question that denial, among them the men who actually carried out the attack.
You may be surprised to learn that the idea to injure Nancy Kerrigan had its roots in Japan. Tonya Harding was competing in a major international event here and did not skate well. She finished fourth. It was early December and only a month before the U.S. Nationals, where 2 people would qualify for the Olympics. Fourth-place finishers would stay home. Back in Portland, Harding complained to live-in ex-husband Jeff Gillooly. She wasn't the darling of the skating community like Nancy Kerrigan, who would be a shoo-in. But what if Kerrigan didn't make the team? Gillooly started scheming with his childhood buddy, Sean Eckhart.
So the plot is hatched, and what was the plot?
To go to South Dennis, Massachusetts, I believe, and break Nancy Kerrigan's right femur as she was coming out of her practice skating session.
Eckhart found 2 accomplices who agreed to attack Kerrigan for a fee. A meeting was held to finalize the details. Shane Stant was the hired hitman.
They wanted her not to skate at the Nationals because if she didn't skate at the Nationals or win or get second, then she wouldn't go to the Olympics.
Eckhart said Harding was involved from the start.
She called the Tony Kent Arena in South Dennis, Massachusetts on a variety of occasions to determine Nancy Kerrigan's skating schedule there.
Yeah. So she knew?
Yes.
Was she obsessed with it?
In her mind, I feel she believed that Nancy Kerrigan was the only obstacle in her path to getting what she wanted.
Which was?
Going to the Olympics and winning a gold medal and getting those $10 million in endorsements.
It was here on Cape Cod that the attack was supposed to take place. But when Shane Stant arrived, he realized he had his girlfriend's credit card. He wasted a day waiting for his to come. Meanwhile, Nancy Kerrigan was finishing her final practice. Shane Stant was clueless. Sitting outside in the parking lot, he'd move his car every 15 to 20 minutes, hoping to avoid suspicion. After 2 days and no sign of Kerrigan, Stant finally came inside and learned that Kerrigan hadn't been around. The next day, he called here, pretending he had a daughter who wanted to see Nancy skate. That's when he learned Nancy was long gone. Almost broke, Stant headed for the bus station and got a ticket on a Greyhound to Detroit. That's where the U.S. Nationals were. Not the smartest place for an attack, but...
You have to realize there were 4 idiots.
There was 4 idiots together, me included.
Who were constantly fighting with each other.
Stupid people leading stupid people.
There was no concerted effort. There was no agreement.
It was lame.
And did you ever really think this nightmare was going to come true?
No.
But Stant was determined to finish what he was paid to do.
And I knew that the competition was that night. And I knew that if there was a considerable bruise on her leg, that she wouldn't be able to compete.
Stant decided the best time to approach Kerrigan would be right after her afternoon practice here at Cobo Arena. Stant was joined in Detroit by Derek Smith, his uncle. Smith would be the driver of the getaway car.
I was sitting in the stands. I walked down and I walked through the blue curtains and I hit her on the right leg above the knee.
I don't know, some hard black stick. Something really, really hard.
I didn't see her face. She was facing the other way.
Help me.
But I did hear her cry out, and that's something that doesn't go away.
I can't imagine somebody deliberately setting out to hurt somebody else. It doesn't make sense to me for any reason, but a sport, it's not life or death or anything. I don't understand it, no.
Stant's escape route at the back of the arena was blocked. He got to these doors and they were chained together, so he had to ram himself head first through the bottom of the doors. Now his uncle was parked back that way. Stant started to run this way. He threw the retractable baton under a parked car. No one gave chase, and eventually his uncle caught up with him.
In Detroit today, someone attacked a U.S. Olympic figure skater just weeks.
No one was more surprised about the news than Patty Cook, who'd been hearing about it from Sean Eckert's dad, Ron.
I'd heard so much, all these things about Sean that were not true, and so why should I believe this? But Ron kept an ongoing saga of what was going on.
Frightened, Cook called Detroit and told Deputy Chief of Police Benny Napoleon. She said she knew who attacked Nancy Kerrigan.
There's no question that this telephone call got us on the right track early to start looking at the people who were responsible.
As Napoleon was busy looking at Harding's associates, she was busy doing what she set out to do. She clinched her second national title and that coveted spot on the Olympic team. An injured Kerrigan was given the remaining berth. By the time Harding returned home, the police were closing in fast with some extra help in their investigation.
Most crooks aren't crooks because they're real smart.
Sean started to panic, and he started to tell people.
Then once it had occurred, why he could just barely contain himself.
Norm Frink was the prosecuting attorney who joined the case when it moved to the Portland courts.
How would you describe this band?
Well, it was sort of like, like the gang that couldn't shoot straight.
That gang went down fast. Eckhart first, followed by Derek Smith, and then Shane Stant. Harding gave up Gillooly. Before he caved in, pointing the finger right back at his ex-wife.
Did he say she was involved?
Oh, yeah. And there was no question in our mind that she had prior knowledge and was actively involved in the conspiracy.
And she sure didn't say, stop this.
Oh, no way.
Frink believed Gillooly, but he needed something more. There was little hard evidence to connect Tonya Harding to the attack on Nancy Kerrigan until Super Bowl Sunday, when the woman who owns this Portland restaurant came out back to take out the garbage. Now, when she lifted the lid on the dumpster, she saw that much of what was inside wasn't hers. She was angry. She rifled through the bags, looking for names and addresses. She soon realized the trash belonged to Jeff Gillooly and Tonya Harding. You saw this stuff. What went through your mind?
I was real concerned because knowing that all of this was going on, I felt that I really had something important, and I called the FBI immediately.
The note she found would be as close to the smoking gun as Frink would get.
Critical was this piece of paper that had Tonya Harding's handwriting on it, and it had notations about phone numbers and practice times.
These are Nancy Kerrigan's practice times at this rink where she practiced.
Yeah, what I distinctly remember being on there was the number of the rink.
She went through the garbage and she found pieces of paper with notes in your handwriting
No, it wasn't.
that said
It wasn't my handwriting.
the name of the arena.
It wasn't my handwriting.
Frink brought in a professional handwriting expert who was certain it was. Not only that, somebody at Tonya Harding's house called Nancy's rink. Anybody could have made the call.
Anybody could have made the calls. But we had that number, and we had things about the practice times in her handwriting.
Come on, would I call up Nancy Kerrigan's hometown rink and ask them when she practices?
I don't know.
How would I know where she even skates? Not to have
But
the
authorities
opportunity
never had the chance to confront Harding with the evidence found after her first interview. She holds firm to her original
Nancy
statement
Kerrigan.
that she knew nothing of the attack before it happened.
I am responsible, however, for failing to report things I learned about the assault when I returned home from nationals.
Look me in the eye and tell me that you didn't know that your ex-husband and his friends were planning to attack Nancy Kerrigan.
I swear on everything holy, may God strike me down. I did not know until 3 days after we got back from nationals. And then I was frightened for my life. That is why I didn't tell the authorities what I had found out. From my heart, if I would have known, I would have done anything I could have to stop it. Anything.
A lot of people don't believe that.
I know that.
Tonya Harding, to this day, says she had nothing to do with it.
She's a liar.
It's very hard to believe if you read the transcripts the FBI had from her. It was like 10 hours of questioning. If you read that, it's clear that she knew more than she admits.
Even Harding's ex-husband, who refused a formal interview, said that Harding was in on it.
Whatever she knew about it?
I think everybody knows that, you know.
You still say that?
Absolutely.
Leading up to Lillehammer, the unrelenting media coverage was mind-boggling.
How uncomfortable are you with the practice schedule?
I'm more uncomfortable standing here talking to all you guys.
Harding wasn't too comfortable either.
No, out of my way!
But with the investigation unresolved, she was delighted to keep her place on the team. Meanwhile, Kerrigan healed in time to also make it to Lillehammer. Take me inside that moment in Norway.
And I can't explain it. No one's ever put it that way. I don't know. It was just the most exciting thing that had happened to me so far. In sports, anyway.
Kerrigan skated the two best performances of her career.
What a great moment for Nancy Kerrigan.
It's not gonna hold me.
Harding had quite a different experience when she went out to skate with a broken lace.
It was almost a nightmare.
Back with the right foot, single.
And at that point, I would rather be disqualified than make a fool out of myself in front of millions of people. So I stopped, went over and told them what had happened.
She was permitted to skate again, but ended the games with an 8th place finish. Kerrigan went home with the silver. Harding went home to face the music. Frink knew she was guilty, but a conviction meant having Gillooly and Eckhart testify, so he offered Harding a deal.
Had we not reached the plea agreement that we reached with her, she was going to be indicted.
Well, I guess that's his own words.
Why did you plea bargain?
I don't know, because my attorneys told me that I should. I have no idea. I mean, I don't know how to answer these kind of questions.
Well, if you were really innocent of everything, then wouldn't there have been a way for you to fight it in court somehow, I guess?
Where would I get the money? I couldn't afford it.
But the plea agreement wasn't much more affordable. It included a $150,000 fine, 500 hours of community service, and a ban for life on ever competing for the U.S. Figure Skating Association. But it did mean no jail time. Meanwhile, Eckhart was given an 18-month prison sentence. Stant and his uncle got the same. Gillooly was given 2 years in jail. What made her cut the deal?
She wanted to be able to have some deniability as to the prior involvement.
And that doesn't sit well with Nancy Kerrigan, whose name will forever be linked to Tonya Harding's.
Is there a part of you that resents Nancy, Tonya, Tonya, Nancy?
Sure. I mean, the media tried to put that there was a rivalry between us. Well, there never was.
Nancy would just as soon not think about it.
Probably think about it when bizarre things happen in sports, like Mike Tyson biting Evander Holyfield's ear, or Latrell Sprewell choking his coach. Totally unnecessary acts of violence and bizarre. They make no sense.
4 years have passed since Nancy Kerrigan skated to silver in Norway, while Tonya Harding faltered in her attempt for Olympic fame. But what about the fates of all those involved in this sordid story?
Sean Eckert occasionally looks back longingly.
Fortunes were made and lost in 6 months. Some more fortunate than others.
He's working on a book, hoping to profit from his notoriety. Hitman Shane Stant is studying and hopes to teach elementary school one day. He continues to work out regularly.
Money. Money was it.
Jeff Gillooly changed his name to Jeff Stone and married a woman named Nancy. They own a beauty and tanning salon in Portland. Derek Smith packed it in and moved to a ranch in Montana. Patty Cook cashed in.
I did hard copy, and then Inside Edition contacted me.
And used the money to become a travel agent. Benny Napoleon was promoted to executive chief of police in Detroit.
And the worst part about it for me is they decided to do it in Detroit.
You know, you see all these people smiling.
Norm Frink is still an assistant DA in Portland.
They were all ready to stab each other in the back.
The restaurant owner in Portland puts locks on her dumpsters now. Tanya's never been back.
No one's ever seen her. I've never waited on her.
How bizarre! How bizarre!
Tonya Harding is still trying to get over it.
I sit at home and I cry. But I always go on. And I always will go on.
Nancy Kerrigan did go on to earn millions of dollars in endorsements. She married her agent, and they have a 1-year-old son.
We had to make it humorous, because, like, this is so, it's just not real. This doesn't happen to people.
A bizarre story unlike anything we've ever seen in sports, and hopefully one we'll never have to listen to again. Still ahead on Olympic.
Live from Nagano, Japan and Los Angeles, this is CBS 2 News.
Our top story, Nagano glory. 2 Americans fly their way to Olympic gold on the slopes. While inside,
we'll share a moment with Michelle, and it's a moment that could earn her the gold medal she's been dreaming of for years. Let's go live right now to Nagano, Japan for the latest from Gretchen Carr. Gretchen.
And it is one of the most anticipated moments of these Winter Games. As you mentioned, in just a few hours, Michelle Kwan and the other competitors will each get 2 minutes and 40 seconds to prove their brilliance on the ice. Tonight, the pressure is building as the world watches American skaters Michelle Kwan and Tara Lipinski get ready for the showdown on the ice. Both are favored to win medals, but it's too close a match to know which competitor will take the gold. Our cameras caught up with American skater Todd Eldredge, who's been watching the practice sessions.
They're concentrating on what they have to do, and you know, it's something that you know, I'm sure they're all
little nervous, but you know, hopefully they'll just go out and skate well.
Many people thought German skater Tanya Shevchenko would take the bronze, but she's sidelined with the flu. That opens the way for American Nicole Bobek and the possibility of an American sweep in the ladies singles figure skating. Even their team leader is amazed at how well the young women are holding it together.
I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they reach down and find all that energy and beat out all that stress. And when you think of the millions of people that are watching them and all the things that they must have to deal with, I think they're dealing with them. I think they'll get through it. But you gotta commend them. It's tough.
And as those skaters dream of gold for some other.
The simple, weightless motion of a cold winter's day. Framed against the gentle snowflakes, where no two are alike. Michelle Kwan, Tara Lipinski, Nicole Bobek. The ladies take the ice in Nagano. No two are alike, but the dream is the same: gold in Nagano. So much about Japan is delicate, elegant, and graceful. Its customs and crafts, its art, its people and places. That is why Nagano is so ideal a stage for the beauty we present for you tonight. The start of the ladies figure skating competition. Hi again, everybody. I'm Jim Nance with friends. How are you? And welcome. Tonight it all begins. The first act of what many consider the signature event of these Olympic Games. Michelle Kwan, the reigning U.S. champion, and Tara Lipinski, the reigning and youngest ever world champion, in a battle for gold on ice. You're looking forward to it, too. The other players in the drama include America's Nicole Bobek, China's Lu Chen, France's Surya Bonaly, and all the rest. And we'll show you all their short programs tonight. Also ahead, but right now it's time for the ladies figure skating competition. Verne, Scott, and Tracy had the call of the short programs from White Ring, and we'll have it for you when we continue from Nagano in just a moment.
The 18th Olympic Winter Games on CBS. The jewel in the crown of the Winter Olympics. The ladies figure skating competition. Tonight, the short program. Michelle Kwan, the United States champion and the favorite for gold. Tara Lipinski, the defending world champion. And Nicole Bobek, talk of an American sweep. The talented duo from Russia, Irina Slutskaya and Maria Butyrskaya. The graceful Lu Chen of China. A strong French team, including Surya Bonaly. Tonight, their story begins. Every seat sold for tonight's ladies short program, 1/3 of the final score. There are 28 entered in this battle for the gold medal, and by luck of the random draw, first on the ice in her first Olympics, 25-year-old Maria Butyrskaya of Russia.
Maria's coming here just off a win at the European Championships. Big win. Put her in position to be hopefully top 3 in this Olympics. She needs to hit this combination. Triple lats, double loop. Drawing first to skate is the kiss of death. Normally, the marks are lower at the beginning of the event. drew first and left in tears. Beautiful triple loop. No one that has drawn first in the short program has ever medaled at the Olympic Games. So she's got a long road ahead of her. She's off to a great start with hitting the 2 high-risk elements at the beginning of this program. Nice double axel. 8 required elements, mandatory deductions for any failures.
On the left, Ilya Kulik, the men's gold medalist. Oksana Kozakova, one of the pairs gold medalists, both from Russia and teammates of Maria Butyrskaya. She comes in with excellent credentials. 5th in the world a year ago, 4th in the World Championships in 1996. But competing tonight in her first Olympic Games.
Look at the 8 required elements. All again, any failures, mandatory deduction. You have to do 3 spins, 2 footwork sequences, a double axel, a jump preceded by steps. That'll be a triple, and a jump combination. You can do double, triple, triple, double, triple, triple. Here are the look at the combinations that will be performed tonight. Triple Lutz, triple toe is the most difficult. Ironically, the 2 favored for the gold medal, Tara Lipinski and Michelle Kwan. Right here is Tara's combination, and right here is Michelle's. They're not doing the hardest combination in the competition, but they do have the most balanced programs and the highest quality. Another look at that triple Lutz double loop combination. It's up, straight. Look at the control in the landing. Easy double loop. Again, it's triple jumps. You see how tight the feet are in the air. She vaults with the right foot. That's what makes it a Lutz takeoff. 1, 2, 3 times around right there. Now she has to control this, regroup, and crank the second jump. Much more difficult than the toe loop combination that a lot of the skaters are doing.
And now the first set of marks for Maria Butyrskaya.
5 4s, 5 3s, 5 6s. You have to think that Australia and Austria might have deducted something, or I wasn't aware of any deductions. Be interesting to see what happens in the second mark, because she skates with a lot of maturity.
Her coach, Elena Sokolova, sits to her right, our left, and the second set of marks.
Excellent marks, and to skate first and get these marks, big hurdle has been hit.
First skater, first of the medal contenders. Sid Whitering, 3 times a world silver medalist in her 3rd Olympic competition. Yet to medal in the Olympics. From France, here is Surya Bonaly. And her ubiquitous mom, Suzanne, who is now actually serving as her coach. Surya Bonaly will skate to music of Duke Ellington. This is called Caravan. Disappointing Olympics in '92 in France. She was 5th, 4th in Lillehammer.
reversal. And after that brief warm-up, going down for a combination. She's been struggling with triple Lutz in practice, so she's changed her combination to triple toe loop into triple toe loop. Keep the speed on the first one. For the second one, 1 foot, both landings, no deduction, but that's probably going to be looked upon by the judges as an easier combination than the triple Lutz.
Surya Bonaly had a career filled with enormous promise in the early 90s. She was really regarded as a medal prospect in France in '92. Coaching changes. She recently moved to Marlborough, Massachusetts.
Triple Salchow. Triple Salchow is the easiest of all the triple jumps. Again, conservative short program. You want to skate clean, but you need the difficulty if you want to compete with the best women in the world.
Bonaly made that move to go into the camp with Tatiana Tarasova in Marlborough, Mass. And of course, Tarasova is here. But about a month ago, she said she was going to spend most of her time with Ilya Kulik and Grishuk and Platov. So Suzanne Bonaly acting as the coach.
Well, Vern, I'm not aware of Suzanne Bonaly's previous presence in figure skating, so I kind of question her coaching ability. But Surya is able to get to this program without any deductions, but an easier program. Her base mark will be much lower than Maria Butyrskaya's.
Clean short program for 24-year-old Surya Bonaly. Suzanne Bonaly, that's Ushi Kessler to the left, who is Elvis Stoico's choreographer, and she lives in Philadelphia. The Bonaly family made its way to Philadelphia to work with Ushi Kessler prior to coming over to Japan.
It's very important to keep the speed on the landing of this first triple toe loop right here. Up, in, strong skater, strong jumper. Triple toe loop there, kind of lands a little bit with a dead stop, but soft knee pulls it out. Elvis has been working with her in practice too. He looks on and goes, yep, that's what I told you could do that. And you did. Good job.
And now with Suzanne Bonaly and Ushi Kessler by her side in the kiss and cry area. Here are the first set of marks for Surya Bonaly.
Disparity in the marks from 5-0 to 5-7. Again, an easier program. The triple sow as the triple jump is very easy. Triple toe combination. Far easier than the combinations we're used to seeing her do. Second set of marks. Some of them go down, some of them stay the same.
That puts Surya Bonaly second to Maria Butyrskaya. Let's check in with Tracy Wilson.
Maria, before you used to have trouble competing, but this year you know how to compete. Why?
Because I have a new coach, Elena Sokolova. She is a very strong woman. It's very great for me.
You needed to be strong today because you drew first. How nervous were you?
It's not good start number for me. But after me starting 27 girls.
Right.
It's if today I doesn't jump,
you be in trouble. If you don't jump,
yes, it's very bad for me. But now it's very happy because this is first Olympic game for me. It's first number, and I did.
Yes?
I did all
It's good. Yes, etterklassene.
Okay.
Sorry, my English. Okay, thanks a lot, Maria.
Still to come tonight from White Ring, 2 world champions, Lu Chen of China and Tara Lipinski of the United States.
Still ahead, more figure skating and men's freestyle aerials.
To wait and see how the rest of the field does.
The next group warming up includes a skater who was once a gold medal favorite for these games. Harry Smith has her story.
Lillehammer, 1994, women's figure skating. Part soap opera, part psychodrama. Everyone remembers who got the gold medal. And of course, the silver.
Silver medal. Nancy Kerrigan, United States of America.
Quick though, who won the bronze?
Winner of the bronze medal, Lu Chen.
Lu Chen of China is the answer. That wisp of a girl was just then blossoming into China's only international skating star. She was sent to America to train to ensure her continued growth.
I really like it. I really enjoy stay there and then training and make a lot of friends and also learning how to speak English.
Lu Chen learned more than English. Her time in the West helped her learn about herself. She became more than a skater. She became an artist on ice. Lu Chen won the 1995 World Championships. She was clearly in love with her sport, and she was falling in love with the United States.
Go shopping and go disco and go to the beach. All kinds of things I like.
What part of the country did you like best?
I think California. Better. Warm.
Lu Chen was on the verge of fulfilling her enormous promise, but suddenly and inexplicably, her dream life in America came to an end when China ordered her to return home.
It's such a contradiction because they sent her to the West in the first place in order to learn. And then as soon as she had made a life for herself in California, they took her back.
Chen dutifully returned to China in the fall of 1996.
No matter, where I live, I'm Chinese. I love my country. I really want to do best for my country.
But she is clearly uncomfortable talking about her return to Beijing.
Well, I think, it's so hard to say.
The following season was a disaster. Chen was plagued by an old injury. She split with her longtime coach, and she appeared at only 2 international competitions. Her performance at the Worlds was so poor, she didn't even qualify for the finals.
After 97 Worlds, and it's a hard time, and it's really break my heart.
I saw a broken spirit, and whether that was from her skating experiences or because she had been asked to return, I don't know, or it's probably a combination of both.
Somehow, though, Lu Chen has regained her focus, regained her spirit. Here in Japan last fall, she showed glimpses of the passion that made her a great skater.
I just training, because I know I don't have that much time. And this time, the Olympic, for me, it's very, very important.
Important because Lu Chen told us the Olympics will be her last competition.
Winning is irrelevant to her. I think being here in the first place is a success to her. Coming back from last year and surviving.
Only Lu Chen knows the truth about the last 2 years. It is for now her secret. What she wants the world to know, though, is she is ready for her final performance.
I do. I really think I can come back.
And all of us who have been lucky enough to meet her hope so, but she's struggling, Scott.
Another double Lutz in this warm-up. She needs to hit a triple Lutz double toe. If she gets past that, she's got a chance.
Current standings have Butyrskaya in first place, Surya Bonaly of France second, Lashenko of Ukraine is third, Malinina of Uzbekistan fourth, and Shireen Human of the Republic of South Africa is fifth. Given all she has been through, she's still only 21 years of age.
China, Lu Chen.
Here is lovely Lu Chen. Bronze in Lillehammer. World champion in 1995.
Choreography is exquisite. Sandra Bezic is her choreographer. She has something very special to work with Lu Chen. Triple Lutz is so crucial. Triple Lutz! Yes! That is so exciting. To know her all these years and to see the trouble she's had the last two, to watch her do that combination is just unbelievable. Is connecting steps, the triple toe loop. Beautiful triple toe loop. Everything about her skating is so finished. Positions, each arm movement, posture. Spiral position there. A little slow going in, beautifully landed.
Among those watching with admiration and appreciation, Michelle Kwan's coach, Frank Carroll.
And when you have the year that she had last year, just to see her pull that off is just wonderful. Be able to come back from all of that.
She didn't qualify to skate in the free skate at the World Championships in Lausanne in March. I remember standing with her in the parking lot, a group of us trying to commiserate, and she was so sad to see her now. Having completed that short program, what a thrill. Her choreographer, Sandra Bezic from Toronto.
Step one. 4 minutes to go. Since she's been here, she's just been having fits with this triple Lutz. She gets in, good height, good position on the landing. It's like, whew, okay. Triple Lutz is very close. She needs to start rotating it earlier. She rotates it at the top of the jump instead of on the way up. You can see she vaults with the right foot here. That puts her into the air. Now right there, she should start rotating faster. You can see right there, her feet come together. About a quarter of a turn short of rotation, but she sneaks the leg around, puts the toe in for the double toe loop. Whew. Beautiful choreography. Look at the leg and how high it is, the flexibility on the spiral. Beautiful layback position on the spin.
The marks for Lu Chen. Required elements.
Now the marks for Lu Chen.
Well, I think Australia is judging the practices. It's a 5.6 or 5.5 performance at least. I didn't see any deductions. If they're counting that quarter turn on the landing of the triple Lutz, that's really nitpicking.
Now the ordinal, Scott, meander, to put it politely.
A lot different than ice dancing.
Lu Chen currently second behind Butyrskaya. In her short program at the Nationals, Tara Lipinski fell on the triple flip jump, a rare mistake for her. Now the pressure on this 15-year-old increased even more, competing for the very first time on Olympic ice.
Sequence earlier. The American women really take this very seriously. Position, the extension, flexibility. Combination coming up now, triple Lutz into double loop. Let's double loop, beautifully landed. Element is the triple flip that she missed at the U.S. National Championships. Connecting steps here, right into triple flip. A little cautious on the landing, but what a huge hurdle. All the risk is behind her now. She has a double axel. She shouldn't have any trouble with that. She knows she's done it.
Look at the joy on her face.
She looks so tiny. She skates with such maturity. She has the heart of a champion, and she's really had a great time enjoying her first Olympic experience. Final combination spin with the speed, the position. Perfect short program, Tara Lipinski.
Perfect enough to take the lead. But Michelle Kwan was yet to skate.
Big time you did. You want to take your time, but when it's time to jump, you want to explode in the air. Just think, you've always wanted to do this. Here you are.
The warm-up is over.
With her coach Frank Carroll's words to settle her nerves down, Kwan prepared herself. And Tracy Wilson talked to Tara Lipinski.
Tara, you've been skating so well all week in practice, and again you skated with great confidence. How did you think you did?
I felt that was one of my best programs ever. I mean, musically, not over the jumps, but I think musically and emotionally, and everything just came together out there.
She received an unprecedented 7 perfect marks for presentation for this short program at the Nationals. Now, with Lipinski in the lead, Michelle Kwan skated for even higher stakes.
Her opening move is the combination triple Lutz into double toe loop. Triple Lutz, double toe. Straight, easy. Quality that separates Michelle Kwan from the rest of the field is presence on the ice. If you're sitting in the last row, you feel her power, her magic. Triple toe loop. Spiral sequence. Look at the control just to turn over to an outside edge.
Wow. No perfect six this time, but 5 nines across the board for presentation give Kwan the lead in the short program. Is third. Wonderful job by Michelle Kwan, Tara Lipinski as well, and she's now taken a spot in the stands with her American teammates. Matter of fact, no seats, so she has found the lap of Jason Dungeon, American pairs champion, with Todd Eldredge sitting by. And among those who are battling for a medal in these Olympics, the French national champion. She's 23 years of age. Here is Laetitia Hubert.
Of triple Lutz into triple toe loop. A lot of speed going into this. She's flying across the ice. Triple Lutz. A little lost in the air. She came out of it early. Quarter turn cheat. But consistency has been her biggest problem throughout her career. She was 5th in the short program in Albertville. She dropped to 12th after the long program. She needs this jump. Triple flip. And a little stiff on the landing. She has to put her hand down.
So far, among the international events in which she was entered this fall was Trophy La Ligue. She beat Tara Lipinski to win that title and had had such high hopes coming in.
When she's on, she's spectacular, but when she starts to go off a little bit, she doesn't have the touch, the feel of the ice. A lot of times she'll land on the flat of the blade instead of coming down on the toe first and resting the rest of the blade down. So if you don't land perfectly, you're going to make a big mistake. See, she's a little tight here. She just doesn't look like she's relaxed and flowing with the music. I can't stress enough how devastating these deductions can be. 0.4 on the missed combination, 0.1, 0.2 on the hand touchdown and the triple flip. Anytime you have 0.6 of a point taken off the first mark, you really have no chance at a medal.
Laetitia Hubert also competed for France in the Olympics in Norway, went through a coaching change that was bitter in nature in 1994. And really thought she was going to be able to deliver the goods here in Japan.
Combination, she went so fast into this combination. She reaches back and it looked like she just got up high enough. Everything was fine, but you get lost a little bit in the air. She came out early. Now watch, right about here. See how she opened up a little bit early and the leg came over across? You need to be completely squared off backwards to do the combination. Again, you get a little lost in the air. You don't know where you're going. Triple flip, she really needed this. Again, a minor deduction on this one. Good air here, good height, and just forward in the air and on the landing. Hand goes down. The coach is saying that's not how we practiced it.
Jean-Roland Ruckle is her coach. And Laetitia Hubert gets the first set of marks.
You're expecting him to go down, but 4-3. Oh, that's a stake to the heart. Ouch.
Presentation 5-2.
Marks for presentation.
And you can see how much they go up. That probably would have been her starting marks had she not made any mistakes.
Laetitia Hubert. Short program continues at White Ring.
Thank you.
Bobek was the last of the 3 American ladies to arrive at the Olympics. She was also the last of the American ladies to arrive at White Ring. A short time ago, 35 minutes before her warm-up, Nicole Bobek came into the building. At the same time, gold medal favorite Michelle Kwan, having successfully completed the short program, faced the media in what they call the mixed zone. And Tara Lipinski, who also skated beautifully tonight, found her way into the stands where she joined her American teammates. Current standings have Michelle Kwan first, Tara Lipinski second, Maria Butyrskaya of Russia is third, Lu Chen of China is fourth, and Surya Bonaly of France is fifth. Now let's go down to Tracy, who is with Michelle Kwan.
Michelle, even though you have been skating so well, how much of a relief is it to get the short program over with?
Well, the short program is very nerve-wracking because you have to do 8 elements and you have to do it very clean and precise. And when I was out there, I was just looking at the American flag, seeing my name, and I was just like, oh, I'm at the Olympic Games. And then when I started my pose, I'm like, ready or not, here I go.
You gave us a few nervous moments in the warm-up, though. Tell me about your combination in the warm-up and then how you got it together for the program.
Well, I think I was just really happy to be skating, you know, and finally be at the Olympics, and I was just getting overwhelmed, and I wasn't really concentrating on the ice. So I think when I had that 1 minute before I skated, I took a deep breath, and I really thought, okay, what do I have to do now? And I just kind of dropped everything I did at warm-up and just really had fun and enjoyed myself out there.
The combination in the program, I'd like to take a look at it now, was it looked terrific. How did it feel to you?
Well, when I landed, it didn't feel like I did anything. I was like, wow, I did my triple S double toe, and I think here I finally realized that I did it, and I was like, and then I just smiled.
The overall program, was that as good as you could do it?
Yes, I think so. I mean, this is Olympic Games. I'm not looking for perfection, but just here to do a good job, and that's to skate well.
Well, congratulations,
Thank
and we're
you.
looking forward to Friday.
Thank you.
There are 3 Russian ladies competing in the Olympics in 1998. The youngest of the trio is on the ice now. She is 17 years of age. From Moscow, here is Elena Sokolova. Finished 3rd at the Russian Nationals back in December. She's a first-year student at the Institute of Physical Culture in Moscow.
She may be young, but she's got solid jumping technique. Combination, triple Lutz. She sits down. I've not seen her do that. Great combination jumper normally. Triple loop is nice, triple toe, triple Lutz normally landed. 0.4 deduction. Extremely difficult. And I don't know how much credit, extra credit she gets for that arm over the head. It seems kind of dangerous, like almost like an irresponsible risk, but she did it, so we'll see.
She's got the bright eyes, doesn't she? Elena Sokolova, young lady of real potential for the Russian team. Competed in Skate America in Detroit back in the fall, where she finished 3rd to Michelle Kwan and Tara Lipinski.
She didn't get the height she needed, it looked like, in this combination. Watch, she'll reach back with the right, it vaults. Normally it's a little higher than that, but right there is where she has her problem. You can see that the other leg came over, crossed a little bit too much, twisted in the landing, couldn't save it. Triple loop, completely different results. Straight up, straight in, look how straight she is in the air, 1 foot landing. And the double axel, the arm over the head, it's so difficult because it brings your center of balance up. Very tough. You can see the arm right there, up over her head. So difficult to control that arm from flying all over the place. There's so much torque while you're rotating a double axel. I'm not sure how much extra credit she's going to get, but she's going to need to get some tenths back after the fall in the triple Lutz.
The marks for Elena Sokolova.
And the first set of marks now for Sokolova.
4.8.
Looked like she got a couple of those tenths back on that double axel. Not bad, a 0.4 deduction on the fall in the triple Lutz. Second mark will go way up. It's a very well constructed choreographed program. It really suits her.
5.3, 5.3.
So among those who have skated, Sokolova finds herself in the 8th position. Yet to skate, Nicole Bobek. Earlier this evening and did so quite well, thank you. She's in 4th. Tara Lipinski spreading the good news. She's 2nd. Michelle Kwan, still backstage, is in 1st. Maria Butyrskaya was the first to skate. She has left the building. And she's left it in the hands of her Russian teammate. On the ice right now, just turned 19. Here is Irina Slutskaya. Twice the European champion, 96 and 97. She has struggled, however, this season.
Skates with a lot of speed, a lot of power. But this triple Lutz technique, not textbook at all. The arms, double right there, double. The way she sets that triple Lutz up, it's not meant to happen. Connecting steps into triple loop. Big, nice, easy triple loop. Double axel, another double axel, the arm over the head. Sokolova did the other one. And the judges liked it. And the judges like Irina Slutskaya a lot. I think they're waiting for her to have a good performance. A great draw late in the event. To draw this late, there's a lot of marks left out there. And that double-double combination mistake is going to cost her any chance for a medal.
Mentioned the difficulty she's had this year. She finished 4th at the Russian Championships back in December, and the Russian Federation sent her to the Champion Series final, where she did finish 4th to earn a spot on the team. Irina Slutskaya from Moscow, bronze medalist in the World Championship in 1996 when Michelle Kwan won her title. 4th in the world at Switzerland last year, but going through some difficult times now.
Mistakes. Look at the arm right here. The arm, the right arm is just so shallow. It'd be like throwing a right hook from 2 inches from a guy's face. You need to really cock that arm all the way back and throw it as hard as you can to get that rotation. The double axel with the arm over the head. The judges obviously love this. In Sokolova's program, you can see the arm goes up. It brings your center of balance way up, makes it much more difficult to do. Elena Beresnaya, Oksana Kazakova, silver and gold in the pair event. Look on.
Panel of 9 looking on, judging Irina Slutskaya, and among that number, Jan Hoffmann, Leipzig, Germany. Remember, he was the 9th judge the night Nancy Kerrigan and Oksana Bayul battled for gold in Lillehammer, and he gave his judgment in favor of Bayul by 1/10 of 1 artistic point.
I've known Jan for a long time, and I competed with him, and I can tell you, you won't find a better human being anywhere. He's a wonderful guy, great integrity. He only puts a mark down if he feels strongly about it, and he felt strongly about that. Great man.
First set of marks for Irina Slutskaya.
And these aren't great, but they're not bad either. The combination was a mistake. A double-double combination sets the base mark of difficulty. Told you the judges like her.
Marked for presentation.
5.7s, 5.6, very generous. She's not out of it yet.
And that moves her in front of Surya Bonaly. Nicole Bobek next. The white ring, the last of the American ladies on the ice in her first Olympics. 20-year-old Nicole Bobek. Her mother, Yana, watches from the stands. The music is Zorba the Greek by Herb Alpert.
Her opening 2 jumping passes are so crucial. First one, triple Lutz combination, triple Lutz, fall in the landing. She didn't get all the way around. Mandatory 0.4 deduction. Triple toe loop, double.
Nicole Bobek arriving at the building a little over a half an hour before the warm-up, and her warm-up, Scott, did not go well.
She's been struggling with consistency on the jumps. Whatever time you arrive is your choice. Some people like to get there late, some people like to get there very early. I'm one that likes to get there early. Double axel. Another step out there. And you're thinking 2.5 minutes, 8 required elements, 2 mandatory deductions already. The double toe loop's not going to help her out at all. It's only 2.5 minutes, but it feels like it's a nightmare covered in molasses. This is not what you want your Olympics to be.
'95 United States national champion, struggled with injuries for a couple of years, came back last year to win a bronze medal and go to the World Championships. Her mom, Yana, immigrated from Czechoslovakia back in the 70s.
Her coach, Krista Fossey, they had devastation last year at the World Championships. Her coach, Carlo Fossey, Krista's husband, passed away during the competition. For Nicole, just, this is a nightmare. You hate to see this. She's an incredible performer. When she's on, she lights up the building like nobody else. So extroverted, as a personality, but this is tough.
You don't? We have to go out that direction anymore.
Combination. Just watch, a little loose there on the takeoff. You can see she's up straight in the air, but just doesn't get around. The blade does not like going sideways on landings of jumps. It just hates it. Double axel, this is kind of a silly error. Double axel is an easy jump for this level of skater. Now watch the landing right here. The hips open a little bit. Right there, left hip opens up. Can't hold on to the landing. I'm watching, just, she knows how tough this is. It's brutal.
Tara Lipinski looks on, Todd Eldredge as well.
Talk of an American sweep has been pretty prevalent here, but you've got to skate. She had a great draw, next to last in the group. She thought it was all teed up, but you've got to be able to land the jumps. You can see just the disappointment, and it's so hard. You want to turn in your best stuff at the biggest, most important times in your career, and this was one of those for Nicole, and so difficult to wait.
And the marks.
The marks for Nicole Bobek. Required elements: 4-3, 4-4, 4-2.
These deductions
4-6,
are mandatory.
4-3, 4-7.
Second mark will go up, and second mark would be higher had she even skated the program half as well as she's capable of doing.
5-1, 5-4, 5-3, 5-5, 5-5.
What had been a long night now becomes unending. Tonight at Hoyt Ring, a night of big smiles. And bigger smiles. It was a night with tears of joy. And tears of sadness. The standings have Michelle Kwan first, Tara Lipinski second, and Maria Butyrskaya third, followed by CHEN, Slutskaya, and Surya Bonaly. Elena Lashenko also part of the battle for the bronze medal. Laetitia Hubert of France thought she would be, but she's a disappointing 12th. No one, however, more devastated by the short program results than Nicole Bobek of the United States. She's 17th and declined our invitation for an interview. In the draw room, Michelle Kwan drew the first position in the last group.
She comes right off warm-up, a very good draw. It worked in the short.
Tara Lipinski of the United States will skate next to last.
Well, what's important about the draw is who you skate after or what you skate after. Michelle Kwan skates right after the warm-up. Great draw for her. Tara Lipinski skates right after Surya Bonaly. Maria Butyrskaya skates last. The medals won't be decided until Maria hears the last note of her music.
The ladies free skate from Hoyt Ring, Friday night.
All right, now tomorrow we'll check in on Michelle Kwan and Tara Lipinski as they prepare for their gold medal final showdown here at the Nagano Games. And then on Friday night, 8 Eastern, we'll have those performances with the free skate portion of the ladies figure skating competition. Late work
to begin here in Nagano. And after a memorable, and I mean a memorable short program, it was Tara Lipinski and Michelle Kwan. They both now have their eyes set on the gold medal.
It was everything we hoped it would be and more. Michelle Kwan and Tara Lipinski in top form at the Winter Olympics.
Triple toe loop, triple flip.
Michelle dazzled the crowd with a flawless routine in the short program. It was so good that Michelle herself admitted it couldn't have been much better.
Could your performance tonight have been any better?
I don't think so. I mean, my heart was there, and I just had a lot of fun. I don't think I could have been in a better position right now.
Michelle's incredible skate put her in the lead, but Tara Lipinski is close behind, as the 15-year-old phenom was every bit as impressive as Michelle, and like Kwan, she knew she was at her best.
It was the best moment of my life. I wanted to stay out there forever. It was just that feeling of, this is the best moment. Everyone's watching you. You've done what you want to do, and just feel like crying.
So going into the long program, Michelle is ranked number 1 and Tara's number 2. But as we talk to Scott Hamilton, only that much separates them right now.
That's all. It's going to be exciting to watch. Well, while millions of people in Southern California and around the world were rooting Michelle Kwan on, perhaps her biggest fan was sitting holding her breath in a dormitory room at Boston University.
From the moment Michelle Kwan took the ice, from the opening bars of Rachmaninoff, her sister Karen Kwan's eyes were glued to the screen. She's thousands of miles, but just a heartbeat away.
I think she looked great, and she looked very confident and very, very beautiful.
The experts say the gold medal is Michelle Kwan's to lose. During an exclusive interview with CBS 2 News tonight, Karen told us how Michelle keeps her concentration on her performance, not just the prize.
Well, it's hard to block out all of that, but I think that she can, just because in Arrowhead she's very isolated and she can concentrate. So this is more of a competition between herself and the ice.
Karen talked to her sister just after her short program victory.
She was tired and she was ready for bed, but I got to talk to her really briefly about how she did and how she feels.
And after a good sleep, Michelle's already back on the ice, preparing for Friday's showdown.
Important as it is, the short program only sets the stage. Friday's free skate is worth the remaining 2/3 for Olympic.
Or in the sun, laughing, having fun with all the people that she knows. And if the situation should keep us separated, you know the world won't fall apart, and you will free the beautiful bird that's caught inside your heart. That's the way it's gonna be, little darling. We'll be riding on the horses, yeah, way up in the sky, little darling. If you fall, pick you up, pick you up.
And welcome back to Nagano as we look down at the White Ring venue, figure skating site. It was designed to look like a dewdrop, but some locals have complained that it looks a little more like a UFO. But nonetheless, that is the site of the ladies figure skating competition, which you'll see tomorrow night. And our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, innovators of run flat technology. Ladies first is not the rule when it comes to Olympic figure skating, as the ladies go last here. Tara Lipinski and Michelle Kwan have both won world championships and both won U.S. national titles. Now they go after something they've never won before, Olympic gold. And our Vern Lundquist looks ahead to the ladies' competition.
It is possible at these Olympic Games for the American ladies to sweep the medals. Michelle Kwan is the favorite for the gold medal. Tara Lipinski, the 15-year-old reigning world champion, will be Michelle's biggest challenger. Nicole Bobek, talented but unpredictable. Lu Chen is China's skating jewel. 3 years ago, she was the world champion, China's first and only. 4 years ago, the Olympic bronze medalist, also a first for China. Since those accomplishments, she has a new coach, and her government has restricted her travel outside of China, preferring their own training methods for the 21-year-old skater. A recurring injury on her foot will make Lulu's quest for a second medal a challenge.
Successful than all those that went before me, because the time is right, the season is right, you are right, the conditions are right. We must go free now. Now is the time. That's how we teenage riot. What did you say? That's how we teenage riot.
I'm nervous, but in a certain degree, you know, I can handle it, and it's slowly building. I mean, I still got quite a ways before I compete, and I guess I'm pacing myself and how I feel, kind of talking myself into like calm.
I want to experience Olympics. I don't want to go home and say, you know, I skated great, but I don't know what the Olympics is about, so.
I think there's definitely a possibility for a medal.
I haven't been watching other competitors. I never do. I really just try to stay focused in my own thing. Hey, you know what's been great here? Driving on the wrong side of the road. I'll tell you, it was so much fun.
Not much fun for Nicole Bobek today. 5 minutes into her first practice on the Olympic main rink, problems. Nicole arrived just 4 days ago and hasn't had a clean practice yet.
My practices have been a little bit of both, up and down, up and down, up and down. But I think that's only normal. You know, I'm not a machine, and you can't do perfect all the time. So get all the bad stuff out now and do the good stuff in the competition. That's what I tell myself.
Lake Arrowhead, California, about 1 month ago.
You get too far around. You get too far around.
Nicole has a well-documented history of coaching roulette, but has settled down with Krista Fossey after the sudden death last year of Nicole's former coach, Carlo Fossey.
Nicole has really matured a lot in the last year. Perhaps also circumstances made her mature much faster than perhaps she would have otherwise. But she's quite serious about her skating, and she still is always happy-go-lucky person, but she definitely is more serious than she used to be.
Look at you guys. Hey, hey, hey. No fighting. No, we'll have none of that. I feel like I've finally reached the point that I've always wanted to. And it's probably the greatest experience you can experience. The fact, during the Nationals, I was so nervous. And I was like, this can either make my life or break my life. Now I feel actually pretty good. I'm really not nervous about the Olympics. I know what I have to do. I have to go out there and do the best I can do and do my job. And that's what I'm working for.
At 20, she's the senior member of the U.S. Olympic team and has definitely matured in the past year. But Nicole is still, well, Nicole.
That is good.
Very good. Thank you very much. Hope you're good work. Your success. And but don't be so don't be so upset.
I know. I'm a very emotional person. I can't help it.
Yeah.
Of course, the U.S. women's chance for a medal sweep got even better after the unfortunate withdrawal of Germany's Tonya Shevchenko, who came down with the Nagano flu. And an update on the sickbay condition here in Nagano. The International Olympic Committee medical director said this morning that 50% of all IOC credentialed staff have experienced flu-like symptoms during the games. And a reminder, we'll have the...
She was so happy last night about how well she skated, and should she have been as happy as she was? How well did she do?
Well, I think she should have been. She went out and she skated great. She started off her program, and the first couple elements are the tough ones for her. And then once that was over with, then she was glowing. She was out there. She was having a great time.
Now, I know you were in her warm-up room with her before she went on the ice. What was the mood in the room? What did you tell her? Did you give her any nuggets of advice?
I told her how to go out and do her hard work and then enjoy it once that's over with. And that's pretty much how my approach was to it. So, that's what you do is you go out, you get the hard stuff done early, and then you can enjoy it.
All the critics, all the people in the know, quote unquote, say that these two women are head and shoulders above the rest of the field. What makes them head and shoulders above the rest of the field?
Well, I think really what sets them apart from all the rest is the consistency. I think over the last couple of years, both Tara and Michelle have been, at the top of the world scene, and I think some of the other girls have done well, but they'll have certain competitions where they don't do as well, whereas Tara and Michelle have kind of played it consistent and done well at each one.
The third U.S. Figure skater, Nicole Bobek, did not do so well. Tell me about her performance last night.
Well, you know, I thought she was skating well in practices here. I saw a few practices, and she looked like she was skating well. You know, it could have been just a bit of nerves last night. She got out there, and when she missed the first thing, that it's hard to sometimes put that behind you and go on. But you know, she had a rough night, and that happens. And you know, unfortunately, it was the Olympics.
Can she come back from 17?
Well, I think for her tomorrow, you know, for her to go out and to skate well, she really wants to do that for herself. You know, regardless of what the result ends up being, she just wants to go out, I'm sure, and you know, have a good performance and leave the Olympics feeling good.
Russia's Maria Butyrskaya, a name we were just talking about. You say they pronounce it differently at almost every event. She is in 3rd place. What are her chances?
Well, I think her chances are good. You know, she came out last night. She started off the whole competition first and put down a great performance and made the other girls go out there and skate well.
How hard is that to do, to come out first and drop the gauntlet in that spot?
Sometimes it's tough. You know, you don't know what to expect and you don't know how you're going to feel. And if you go out there and you put it out there great, then you put a little bit of pressure on the other girls to go out and match up to that.
And Lu Chen is the other one we were going to talk about. I just want to mention that she's come back from a long way. She's in 4th. A lot of people like the artistry of her as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of people noticed in '95 the difference between Michelle and Lu Chen. You know, they have a similar style and they're very lyrical. And I think she showed that last night. You know, she had a rough year last year, so I think her coming out and I think she was real happy with herself after she finished the short program to go through it and be clean.
Todd Eldredge, thank you for your analysis and your insight.
Sure.
Always a pleasure to see you.
Yeah.
Jane?
Separates Michelle Kwan from the rest of the field is presence on the ice. If you're sitting in the last row, you feel her power, her magic. Triple toe loop. Just to turn over to an outside edge.
Crowd seems to be in complete agreement with the judges, put American Michelle Kwan in 1st place after the ladies' short program. And you can watch her go for the gold Friday night on CBS Primetime.
Stay each day for the past week. Watching her every step is a woman who knows them all by heart. Peter has more.
Well, joining me right now, Sandra Bezic, former Canadian pair skating champion, and I would say one of the top choreographers in the world today. To name a few, Christy Yamaguchi, Brian Boitano, and of course at these Olympics, Tara Lipinski. You've worked with all of them, and we really need to break this down about choreography. Where do you begin the process of choreography with a skater?
I think choreography first starts with the idea, the concept, and what it is that you're trying to say on the ice, or what it is that you're trying to produce for the skater. For Tara, this year, it was very important to show that she had grown as a performer, and we wanted something, but we also did not want to deny the fact that she is 15 years old, and she's not 20. She's not yet a woman on the ice. So I didn't want to pretend that she was something that she wasn't. I also wanted to keep her freshness. So you go in with those ideas first, and then try and find music that applies to that.
When you are in the process of choreographing for someone like Tara Lipinski, you obviously have to include all of these really difficult jumps. Now, how do you set up choreography that's conducive to doing those jumps?
Well, that's the trick, right? That's the ultimate problem, actually, with choreographing for competitors, because you do have all the elements that have to go in, all the spins, the required spiral sequence footwork, all that stuff has to go in, but you still have to do something creative around it. So the first thing you do is you lay it out structurally, technically, so that everything is set up so that they can land the jump first. And then within that, at the same time but on a different level, I work on the concept and the motivation for the movement on an artistic level.
Yeah, there really are three players, though: the choreographer, the skater, and the coach. So you have to become a team. What's that like?
Well, ultimately, you should be a team. And ultimately, it should always be a group discussion. It doesn't necessarily happen that way. And I like to work very closely with the coach so that there's a communication there. And so also, after I've done the choreography, that they understand what I've tried to do, so that when they're working on it for the following 4 months, that they're able to then develop that idea along the same lines.
Taking someone like a Tara Lipinski, and I'm sure that Brian Boitano, Kristi Yamaguchi, very similar. Are these quick studies? In other words, when you start working with them and you're demonstrating a movement or a feeling, does this come automatically, or can it vary?
For some, it varies. It varies. Some learn very quickly. Some also offer a lot choreographically. Some, for example, with Brian, when we first worked in '88, he offered very little. He completely opened himself to me and said, lead me, take me to wherever you want to go choreographically.
Right.
But several years later, he began to offer, and I consider that as one of my jobs, to teach someone how the vocabulary on the ice and then how to do it themselves.
I heard a great story about you, actually, and it involves Kurt Browning. I've heard that sometimes you will actually just watch Kurt skate, and he has so much natural talent and his movement is so easy that you'll just say, that worked.
Well, yes, except then he doesn't remember what he's done. So then I have to watch him like a hawk and then repeat the step back to him. And that's what's so exciting about working with someone like Kurt Browning, because it's a constant give and take and a constant conversation on the ice, a physical conversation where we add on to each other's work.
Getting back to Tara now, when somebody is sitting at home watching her compete or even exhibit on television, what would you look for? Should it be something that the audience can pick out, or is it just sort of a natural thing that you just say, oh, she's beautiful?
Well, I think with Tara, I wanted everything as natural as possible, as uncontrived as possible. We didn't want to do any strong theme that would layer another personality on top of her. I just think her freshness and her smile are enough. We also wanted everything to be very clean. So I think when watching Tara, I like to watch her face, but she finishes all her work beautifully. She has wonderful speed, and I think she's a very well-balanced skater, technical versus artistic, but she's still very young, so she doesn't have the depth of experience in her life to translate on the ice. So it still is more, say, one-dimensional than what Michelle has to offer.
Right. Well, it certainly is ongoing, but it's working, whatever it is. Thanks so much for coming by the Cutting Edge and visiting us.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Who adds the ka-chink to the skating rink? The Agent to the Stars, next. Before there was Michael, Tiger, and Nike, a little girl from Connecticut named Dorothy Hamill was America's marketing dream. Her face was on everything from cereal boxes to hairspray in 1976. The same happened to Kristi Yamaguchi in '92. gold on the podium means a golden touch for Madison Avenue. In Nagano this week, another girl's dreams will bring riches to her spirit and pocketbook as well. He's been an agent for some of the top names in skating, ranging from Dorothy Hamill, Oksana Bayul, to Pasha Grishuk and Evgeny Platov. He is also the promoter of several Elvis Stoiko specials. With us today is Michael Rosenberg. Thanks so much for being here.
A pleasure to be
Tell
here.
me, what does a skating agent do?
Well, in the first place, the whole world of skating agents is a recent phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
Until 10 years ago, there were only two of us in the whole skating world. Lee Mims, who's outstanding, and myself. And then with the onset of so much money into figure skating, which really happened at Calgary, then all of a sudden now there are 10 or 15 top agents in the skating world.
Mm-hmm.
We try to represent an athlete like yourself, saying short-term goals, long-term goals, what does the skater really want to do for a living, work full-time, do commercials, skate in tours, or just compete. And each skater has a different personality and different goals.
Mm-hmm. What about the marketability of some skaters versus others? Are American skaters worth more than, let's say, European skaters?
It used to be 50-1 that the only skaters who made serious money were Peggy Fleming and Dorothy Hamill. Then skating started becoming more international on television in America. America is where all the money is for skating, by the way. 80% of the income for skaters is from the United States and Canada. With Katharina Witt from Germany, Robin Cousins from England, all of a sudden there were international stars that could make money. And Oksana Bayul did very, very well, despite her recent troubles and her problems. And Elvis Stoiko does tremendously in Canada. So it's now more an international, you can be an international star and still make money in the United States. But only about 10 names, you and I could name them on on our two hands.
When a skater is Olympic eligible, is it important for an agent not to push them too far when they're still competing?
The role of the agent when the skater is eligible or amateur is so secondary to the coach. A skater can say, I have these opportunities for you, and this is how much money it would be, and what does the coach think? And the coach takes the front seat, and the agent takes totally the back seat, because training for international competitions, getting ready for Nagano Olympics is everything. And whatever money they make is secondary.
Mm-hmm. There are so many competitions now, it gets really confusing.
Absolutely.
Should there be a commissioner?
That is the most interesting discussion, Alice, because you're talking about a sport that has only recently blossomed into a multi-million-dollar sport, and it needs some kind of control. Probably a benevolent commissioner would be the answer. I'm not sure, because right now it's almost like the marketplace decides what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And whether we're talking about Michelle Kwan, who should make somewhere between $5 and $10 million, whether she is amateur or professional.
$5 and $10 million.
Between 5 and 10.
We're speculating here, but
absolutely. Chef Goldberg would be proud of me, Michelle's agent, for speculating, but I know and he knows that her potential is so huge. Michelle she's already broken every record there is with her performances in Philadelphia at the national championships. Her string of sixes, was history.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle Kwan is potentially the biggest star skating has seen since Sonia Henne. Tara Lipinski has tremendous potential. Nicole Bobek has tremendous potential. Of course, Tara because she is the phenomenon, and Nicole because she's the blonde sex bomb and has great marketability. Surya Bonaly from France has a tremendous following in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
The first three Americans each have the potential to make between $1 and $2 million per year. Surya Bonaly, as a French star with a big following in the United States, has the potential to make close to $1 million a year.
Wow. Does it take an Olympic medal to make this kind of money, though? Or could you be fourth, fifth,
Very,
sixth?
very interesting question. Alexei Urmanov has the gold medal from Lillehammer, and he has made Zippo. The Philippe Candeloro has the bronze medal, and he's going to be a multimillionaire because of his showmanship.
Right.
Christy Yamaguchi is an American, Japanese-American, who has tremendous appeal and makes wonderful money. Michelle Kwan, a Chinese-American, who can make wonderful money. Neither one of them is in the Peggy Fleming, Dorothy Hamill syndrome, the white toast syndrome, as you would.
I want to ask you this, though. Are the agents making wonderful money?
It's a very interesting question. Thank you very much for asking. We make 15%.
Is that what it is?
Is the standard commission for agents.
Not bad.
It's not bad. It's a nice way to make a living, and you represent a lot of nice people. The figure skating world is a glamorous and clean and exciting world.
All right, Michael. Thank you so much for being with us.
Nice to see you, Alice.
Okay. Well, after that conversation with Michael Rosenberg, it's pretty obvious that agents have a huge role at the Olympics for figure skaters.
And it's so different now at the Olympics than in '84, Peter, when you and I were there. It was strictly amateur professional, and back then you couldn't even really be seen talking to a manager. They had to stay hidden. In fact, the managers aren't allowed into the practices here. They have to sort of do their business outside. But the sport has changed so much, as we know, and these managers and agents have had to grow with the sport and grow with us, and you really have to have a close friendship with them. And I think a lot of people think that we came along sort of too early for this big skating gold rush, and yet we hit it at the perfect time because we're both enjoying what has happened to the sport, and we're still riding that wave. And it's they're very crucial. They're very crucial to the sport, and you know, they're generating the work that is keeping us so happy and doing what we love.
Yeah, you're right. I do agree with you with a lot of it, but there is a point I don't agree with. I actually feel we did come around at the right time. It was perfect timing for my sister and I because we really weren't even supposed to medal. When we won our silver medal, it was this great euphoria, all this excitement. However, you're absolutely right. No agents in the picture. Now, I'll never forget my dad, who grew up in Maine with his accent before the Olympics, saying, "Kids, I don't want you to sign up with an agent because it might not be good for you. Let's wait and watch the dust settle, and then we'll make our decisions afterwards." And I'll tell you, it was the best advice we ever got because we did end up with someone, and we've been with him for 14 years now. And the most important thing that I think any of these young skaters can look at when they're trying to choose an agent is looking at the big picture. Roz, you nailed it. It's not about 2 years. It's not about 5 years. We're talking about 14 years that we've been in the business now, I should say, and it has been nothing but greatness. So you want to look at the big picture.
Okay. Well, agents will be looking for future stars at these Olympics. As we close the show today, here's a look at some of the stars that have already risen at these Olympic Games.
It started with a feeling, and a dream was born in you. You hope and pray that come the day you'll see that dream come true. With every passing moment, you begin to understand that you're bound for glory land. And I say, glory land. In glory land. It's in your heart. It's in your hand. In glory land. Glory land. You're here in glory land.
We welcome United States Olympic figure skating champions on the digits of one hand. 1956, Tenley Albright. 1960, Carol Heiss. 1968, Peggy Fleming. 1976, Dorothy Hamill. And 1992, Christy Yamaguchi. Either Michelle Kwan or Tara Lipinski is expected to take you to your second hand as of Friday night at White Ring. To whet the appetite, we take you to the cutting edge.
One loves Snow White, the other loves to fish. A closer look at Tara and Michelle as their showdown on ice approaches. Will it be Kwan or Lipinski atop the highest step on the podium? Or will Maria Butyrskaya block their path to gold? Their short programs will answer some questions. All this and more today on The Cutting Edge.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to The Cutting Edge. I'm Alice Cook with Rosalynn Sumners and Peter Carruthers. The ladies' short program is over. We're going to get to that in a minute, but first we have to go to the fashion police. Roz,
it's
take it
much
away.
more important than the jumps, of course, for the costumes. Now, the Italian girl. I mean, you would think the Italians would have a little more fashion sense, but poor thing, she wasn't wearing Versace. The Slovakian girl came out skating to Pulp Fiction and was wearing some sort of a Harlequin doll costume. That was a thumbs down. I sort of feel like Joan Rivers here today. The Austrian girl, thank you. The Austrian girl was sort of wrapped in a gypsy Persian scarf. And of course, the last on our list looked like she was escaping a brothel and was mauled by hungry lions. So the thumbs up of the evening goes to Lu Chen, who came out looking like the sublime beauty that she is, beautiful in the Jeff Billings designed red dress. She was stunning.
All class.
How did you ever get that all out?
I don't know.
It's amazing.
It's unbelievable.
Can we talk?
Rosalynn Sumners, our fashion consultant
Thank
right
you.
over here. But CHEN Lu Chen, what do you guys call her?
Lu Chen.
CHEN Lu.
Okay, see, there's been confusion with that over the past 4 years since CHEN Lu has been on top in skating, but actually she is called CHEN Lu in China. But she requested that the American media or journalists around the world call her Lu Chen. But out of respect for her, we have been calling her CHEN Lu. So I think the bottom line here is if you meet Lulu on the street, just call her Lulu. You know? I mean, it's not that complicated, but there's so much about keeping it formal and right that I just say
Or
CHEN
Lulu. Or Chen San.
Chen San, that's right. You could say CHEN Lu San or Lu Chen San.
Okay, let's get to the skating. Let's get to the skating. The Americans are 1-2. We expected that. Gut reaction.
Well, I'll tell you, I think that Michelle was just totally the professional. She's not professional, but she was on the ice with her required elements. Awesome. The artistry, terrific. What more can you say about her? And by the time it was over, and I know you're going to talk about Tara, I was singing that song from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Silver and Gold, Silver and Gold.
That's great. Yeah. And, you know, the silver and gold is still not determined.
That's
I mean,
right.
Tara
Right.
Lipinski came out and set down that short program. I sensed in the warm-up she was feeling a little nervous, and I think the most nervous she was for the triple flip, because that's what she missed at Nationals. And she had a grin on her face when she landed that triple flip. I mean, it couldn't have been any bigger, and everyone thinks she's a little robot. And you know what? She's not. She doesn't take anything for granted out there. So, silver and gold.
She waved to us, too.
Both
She
of
did.
them.
She was skating off, and she looked up at us, and
that's
she
right.
waved. It was
They
very
both
sweet.
look so relieved to have that over.
Wouldn't you be?
The short
Absolutely.
program puts you in the game. While in third place is Russia's Maria Butyrskaya, who has never won a world or Olympic medal. Here's a look at the short program that brought her one step closer to that goal.
25-year-old Maria Butyrskaya from Moscow, Russia, is the 5-time Russian champion, first at the European Championships. She has the unenviable position of having to skate first in the short program. And Rosalynn, we know the problem with that. The judges hold the mark, so she has got to put down a solid performance.
Well, with 27 more skaters to go, again, the judges holding marks. She has to skate clean. She is not known as a pressure skater. She pulled up from 5th place in the short program to win the Europeans. Her strength, though, is the long program. Her first element is the combination triple Lutz, double loop.
This will be her hardest element. A slight...
Beautiful.
Double loop.
Triple loop. Absolutely gorgeous. She really is a woman among little girls. She feels that the sport just wants little girls. She tries to make her style stand out with the platinum blonde hair and the music, such as this, Fever.
Required double axe. Ooh, just skimming across the ice. She didn't have great height on that, but she was able to land it.
Footwork sequence nicely choreographed to this music. Not real complicated. Flying camel with a variation in the arm movement. Again, this is the hardest phase of the ladies' competition. This is a do-or-die situation.
Spiral sequence. The lady must be in an arabesque position throughout this step sequence, and you can see with the extensions that she is.
Last element, the layback spin. Skated well, but a little conservative.
Well, Butyrskaya had to
did it.
skate first, and that is never an easy thing to do.
The skater's nightmare, skating first when you're in the short program like that and you have that kind of a draw. You're always thinking about, oh, the judge is going to give me the marks if I hit the performance that I want. Well, not only did she hit the performance, the judges did give her the marks, and she skated well. This is the kind of a performance that could skate her into a bronze medal. Now think of this. In the short program, she skated first. Guess where she skates in the free program? Dead last. So the draw couldn't be better for her, but now she's got to change her thinking and wait it out after seeing what has happened before her. So it's a totally different sight going into the free program.
Long wait.
Well, and she was sitting in first place after her short program all the way down to when Michelle and Tara skated, really down 20-some skaters. And she actually, her coach told us, she actually likes to skate first. She likes to get it over with. And otherwise you sit around for a couple hours and that pressure just keeps building. So she was great.
She likes to skate first. Now she's going to skate last.
That's even more pressure.
That's right.
But let's see if she can put two solid performances together.
Exactly.
Very rarely do we see that from Butyrskaya.
Okay, let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Coming up, the best dressed skater from the ladies' short program, Lu Chen or CHEN Lu. Well, you know who we mean. Next.
On the ice, representing China,
CHEN Lu from China, at 21 years of age, has seen the top and bottom of ranking in the skating world. Second in 1996 at the World Championships, what was one of the greatest nights in ladies figure skating when she battled it out and lost by the narrowest of margin to Michelle Kwan. It was amazing, but she is on a comeback.
Well, she is one of the most beautiful ladies here tonight. She has an unbelievable body carriage across the ice, but she needs to put it together. She's had very up and down practices. She doesn't skate with a lot of attack. She has to tonight.
She has struggled with the jumps. Her opening combination is the triple Lutz, double toe loop.
Nice. I think that's the first one we've seen all week in practice. She has a tendency to pop the jumps, which means turning them into doubles.
Take a look at her artistry. The detail in her skating is wonderful.
She's one of the few skaters that doesn't leave anything unfinished. Coming up here, triple toe loop. Beautiful.
Roz, she may have been a little bit shaky in practice, but one thing that she does have is experience. Remember, she was the 1995 world champion.
And yet last year at Worlds, she was 25th after the short program, which meant she did not make the cut for the long program, taking away China's position in the Olympics. She had to re-qualify to be here at the Vienna Cup in October. She felt that was her most pressure, and she really had to fight to be here.
But look at the grace and the simplicity within her skating.
She is what we talk about when we say a complete package.
Last tough element for her, the double axel, really hesitant.
Nice. Again, like I said, she's not an attack skater, but in the short program, you just have to execute all 8 elements. Beautiful combination spin. Gorgeous program. Put it all together when she needed it.
And how?
Good for her.
It may have been a struggle getting here, but CHEN Lu has shown the judges that she is ready to compete, at least in this short program, by turning in a very strong performance. Her marks await. Here was what was the biggest hurdle for her to get over, and she did it so well. The triple Lutz, getting up into the air nicely, then jabbing the left foot in for the double toe loop. Very well done. As we mentioned, she struggled in practice, not here.
And here's a beautiful triple toe. Just so light and easy. Again, not the difficulty of, say, a Tara Lipinski's triple flip, but it is the same as Michelle Kwan's triple toe.
Presentation.
Lulu's range of scores went from a 4.9 to 5.3 in required elements and a 5.3 to 5.7 for presentation. But a lovely performance no matter what the scores.
And not only a lovely performance, but truly a personal triumph for her. Think about this, at the World Championships last year, she was 25th. Now she is in the top 5. She's in striking distance to even get into the medal, so that was terrific for her. But what stands out in my mind is the fact that she's 21. Don't forget, Michelle is 17, Tara 15. And Lulu gives a sense of maturity and elegance to the ladies' event that really no one else can give.
And the one person who really knew that that triumph was so special was Sandra Bezic, who did her choreography. And we saw her afterwards, and she was really almost close to tears because she really knew what it took for Lulu to lay down that program. And I personally don't understand a 4.9 when she did the triple combination. Skaters even skating after her who made mistakes got higher marks. And I think it was a crime. Anything below a 5.6 to me in the artistic made no sense. It was a glorious program. It was just stunning.
Coming up, the lightest, shortest competitor at these Olympic Games proves it's a small world after all. Next. Coming off the ladies' short program, Tara Lipinski is sitting in second place in excellent position to win it all. Striking gold is a wish her heart has been making since Tara first dreamed the dream at the happiest place on earth. Here's Chris Schenkel with more.
I'm going to Disney World! I'm going to Disney World! We're going to Disney World! Yeah!
I'm here at Disney World.
Every summer for 13 years, something magical happens to Tara Lipinski. Maybe it's the pixie dust that Tinkerbell spreads, or maybe it's that special wish for a dream to come true. For Tara and her good friend Aaron, they are always looking for a stray wish or two in the Magic Kingdom. Tara's whirlwind year in 1997 found her atop the skating world. She had become, at 14, the youngest world champion in history. So it was no surprise last summer, as she visited her second home, that just maybe all those wishes were now coming true. Maybe all this wishing began years ago as Tara ran into Snow White's arms and found a friend who would be by her side forevermore.
I always, when I came here every year, I used to have breakfast. She used to be the character at breakfast, so I'd come and, have breakfast there so she could come over and talk to me, and I'd watch all the shows and parades to wait for her, and, it's been like a tradition every year, so every year we do it.
The thing that she loved most in the world, of course, would be skating. That would be up there. And I think Disney World's right under it. She loves it. She's been coming to Disney World now for 13 years. And it actually started before she started skating by 3 months. And we took her here for her birthday, and she comes for 9 days the month of June, and she just loves it. She loves the people. She got to know most of the characters, and now that she's older, she knows them by their real names, and it's really been great for her.
When I was younger, I believed in the characters, and I actually believed they were real, and obviously now I don't. But it's still fun to just be here with my friend and, you know, show her, because she's never been here, and, you know, show her what it's like. And it's just nice, you know, being in a separate place, not like, it almost feels like you're in a different world.
It was a different world for Tara on that magical night in Lausanne last March. She never could have imagined how the world would forever change. A young lady from Houston who had been kissed by magic.
I thought I would be thinking about something different. You know, when I pictured, you know, dreamt about it, you know, I always thought it would just be different. It went so fast, for one. Really was mad about that. I wanted it to take a long time. And I was in, I think, shock. So everything just kind of felt normal. And I was like, oh my gosh. But I was still in shock. And then, you know, it hit the next couple days. I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do it again. I was surprised, but it was leading up to that from nationals and series finals, and the confidence kept building. And when I got there, it felt like the right time. But I was still really surprised because, you know, it came so quickly.
After Worlds, that was the ultimate. I tell her, you've done it all. You don't have to worry about it. And I think that's a good way to go into the Olympic year, because just maybe I could take a little bit of that pressure that's on those little shoulders away.
Tara's secret wish just may be found within a castle and a lasting friendship. That golden dream might come true in Nagano to those who believe.
And the castle, they have a star in front of it, and I always sit on it when they have the show, like as my lucky little wish. But yeah, we have that where I wish every year. You know, I make a wish, but it's not like I totally believe in it. But I think I do a little bit.
Your dreams come
on the ice.
It just started off the right way with this triple Lutz. Look at the rotation, how fast she gets up into the air and rotates. Beautifully done.
Well, she's smiling in the middle of the air on these triples. Here, look at the triple flip that she had missed in warm-up. She actually kind of hung on to it a little bit. The toe kind of cranked into the ice.
Here, let me hang on that side. I love the speed and
I have to say hello to everybody.
Okay.
Hi, Caitlin.
Good for you. Good.
Uncle Phil, I love you. Amy, I hope you're doing well.
Tremendous.
I miss you.
Good for you.
Coach Richard Callahan just told her you really kept up the speed, and that is so important on the required elements because you need that momentum to make them happen, and it was something to see. As she awaits her marks, the first were four required elements.
Musically.
Saying that was the best program she's ever done.
Oh, yeah.
Richard Callahan on her right and Megan Faulkner on her left. This young lady from Sugar Land, Texas, has really set the bar. Here are the required elements.
5'8", 5'6", 5'6".
Very interesting.
5'6",
I don't quite understand the 5'6s". I mean, if they're saving the marks from Michelle Kwan, Michelle Kwan doesn't have a triple flip planned.
Presentation.
What will happen to the presentation?
5'6".
Well, no one can say that Tara isn't artistic when she's got 5'9s out there.
5'8",
Well done.
5'8", and 5'9".
Well, that looked like more fun than any trip to Disney World.
I gotta tell you, it looked as though she could have gone out there and done it again. It was totally just a walk in the park. Yeah. She's so conditioned, she's so ready, prepared, that she was just out there embracing life. That is truly what it's all about. If you can do that and enjoy the experience, thumbs up to Tara.
And when she came off the ice, she went right up and sat with her teammates and just was having a ball. And they actually had to call security because people were just surrounding her and trying to get autographs. So she had the biggest smile on her face all night.
Well, here's what Tara had to say about her performance.
I think that was one of my best performances I've ever had in my short, emotionally and technically and everything. It just all fell into place.
Has this Olympic experience been what you dreamed of or even better?
It's been even better, just enjoying the whole Olympic experience and not just skating well, but I know everything else about it, so I feel like I'm really fulfilled with everything I've done here so far.
Is to be a full house for the ladies' free program at White Ring, with as many press people on duty as fans. Some of the TV folks working the event, however, are doing double duty here. Let's come inside the arena now for a look at a few former skaters who have a very vested interest in what happens on the ice.
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside, come inside.
A number of former Olympians are here as broadcasters, but the job of an analyst is not an easy one, especially when it involves wearing two hats, as is the case for commentator Robin Cousins, who doubles as Nicole Bobek's choreographer.
Well, first of all, I want to watch the program to make sure that it's still intact as I put it together in the summer, because I've not seen it since. I still even haven't seen the performance in the US Nationals. But I think you just put it in perspective with everybody else. It's a performance that a skater then has to take, even though you've choreographed it, and make it their own. It's just such a free spirit, and I'm hoping that that's what will come through in the performance. I mean, there's such a fine line between over-choreography with somebody like Nicole, and you certainly couldn't choreograph with Nicole the way that Sandra can do with Lipinski and that Laurie is able to do with Michelle. So there's a certain amount of spontaneity that has to come from the emotion of the moment with Nicole, which is what makes her so special.
I'm a producer for Tracy Wilson for CBS. She's the reporter backstage, running around getting interviews for everyone, and I help her with the questions and what I call choreography for a reporter, because my first job is really a choreographer on the ice. And I choreograph for quite a few people here at the Olympics, one being Takeshi Honda. I'm thinking about him. I'm, really wanting to be back there and encouraging him. But luckily, a choreographer is not a coach, so it's not necessary to be right with him. But I guess one of the things that I think about when they skate is that I need to feel active, because I think I just can't stand there. It's out of your control.
I've been commentating for the past couple of years, but especially when Kelko and Jason skate, it's I can feel my heartbeat is going, and then I feel like maybe people are going to hear it, through the microphone. And I'm trying to be really calm, but sometimes I just can't help it. It's really hard. I just could not say anything until really, really closer to the end, especially with their short program. I was very nervous, and I was more watching than commentating. I knew I had to be professional, but it just did not work. And it's really hard to explain, but I was panicking.
Well, it's against IOC rules that one cannot be a member of the media and act as a coach here. So it put me in a little bit of a challenging situation in that you get a team ready to come to the games, you put in all that time, you put in all that work, and you feel like you can't be there at the most critical moment. I had told them before they went out, they actually wanted to withdraw from the competition. I said, look, you cannot come to the Winter Olympic Games, something you've dreamed about all your lives, and have a DNF beside your name when it was all over. So I knew for them it was tough to go out there, and as I sat here in the booth watching them, all I could keep doing was sending out positive vibes, like, come on, you've got to finish this thing. And it's exactly what they did, and I was very proud of them.
My heart will pump just the same for Tara as it has for Lulu. And for Tara, she dreams of the Olympic gold, and she dreams like a young girl dreams of becoming a princess.
Well, Roz, it might appear to be a conflict of interest, but they seem very comfortable doing their double duty.
Well, actually, Sandra Bezic has gotten a lot of criticism and controversy for being a commentator and talking about skaters that she actually does choreography for. Now, what people don't understand is there's just a small handful of top people in this sport that can really get into the minds of the skaters and know what's going on the ice and sit behind a microphone and give us that very important insight. Now, the other person that has conflict of interest is a choreographer. For instance, Leanne Miller. She can have 5 lady skaters out in a professional competition, all skating to her choreography. She has Takeshi Honda here, and she is working for CBS, but that's more of a conflict of interest than a double duty. I've even gotten criticism because I'm on tour still with Christy Yamaguchi and Katarina Witt, and it's very hard now as I'm starting to commentate to one week be sort of trying to be critical or to point out maybe what's wrong about a performance, and yet a week later I'm skating either against them or with them. So it's a very tough position to be in, and that's the choice that myself and Sandra and Leanne have made.
Well, we're going to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to take a closer look at Michelle Kwan and her short program.
Fame and the whole package. Michelle Kwan has it all right now. 2 national and 1 world championship later, she is on the verge of crossing into the magic world of Olympic stardom. It all began with a gold medal performance 10 years ago. Here's Chris Schenkel with more.
I don't really remember a time that I didn't have skates on. All I can remember is every day tying my skates and a big smile on my face, excited to go on the ice. I was the one running to the ice surface, and I was like, can't wait to get on, to practice my new jumps, my new spin, my new everything, and I was just wanted to show off for everybody, just to do my tricks on the ice. Well, I think it was 7 years old when I watched Brian Boitano win 1988 Olympics. I first was like, okay, now I'm gonna go to the Olympics. So when Brian won, I was just like, he skated his best performance, and it was Olympic Games. I just always wonder if that could ever happen to me. Your whole time, your whole 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, that you've been thinking about going to the Olympics. And now it's the time. Now it's the time to do everything you've always dreamed of doing.
Michelle and her family are finally living together. For years, while Michelle trained at Lake Arrowhead, Danny Kwan worked their restaurant in Torrance and commuted the 2 hours on weekends to Arrowhead. In 1995, he sold the restaurant and moved back with the family.
Have confidence in you, fish.
Confidence is what Michelle lost in 1997. She had finished second 3 straight times. Along with her national and world titles, she lost her love for the sport. Michelle calls it her coma. It was the daily presence of her parents who helped pull Michelle out of this stupor.
I think I was very confused in 97. I didn't understand what was going on. Like I was thinking about too many things instead of just love skating, you know. The whole year I didn't want to skate. Every day I would go in the rink and I was very tense, like I was competing every day. I came out well because of my parents. I think I would have went the totally wrong direction if it wasn't for my family's support and direction.
This past summer, Michelle was in New York for a photo shoot and some time away from the sport. She was now maturing into a 17-year-old woman. She was awakening from her self-inflicted coma and was discovering some new priorities. The love for skating was returning and life was becoming fun again.
I think I just have to remind myself that no matter what happens, I've got to be happy because there's so much more than just this. And I think that's the whole mindset that I have to think about is this is only a sport. I got into the sport just because I want to have fun. This is the big year that I've been waiting for since I was a little girl. And I just always think about easy go, you know. let it happen, you know, it'll come to you. The worst word is regret. I mean, like in 100 years, you don't want to be saying, oh no, I should have worked a little harder, I should have done this. You don't want that to happen, so just give it all and just see what happens. I think if you're tough enough to do it, or stand on your feet while people are trying to push you down, and if you're tough enough, I think that's just the big question. And I'm crossing my fingers that I'll be strong enough to handle everything. What my dad said is having a peace of mind, it's having no regrets, just going for everything and just give it all, and if it doesn't happen, you still have a good peace of mind that you've tried it all and it didn't happen for you. And if you got another shot, try it.
On the ice, representing the USA.
17-year-old Michelle Kwan from Torrance, California is known as the complete skater. Combining artistry with athleticism, she has pushed ladies figure skating to a new level. How high? 7 perfect 6-0s in the short and 8 perfect 6-0s in the free program at the National Championships.
This is the moment she's been waiting for. She's going to open with the combination, triple Lutz, double toe. She looked a little tight in warm-up.
But she'll have to attack this in order to have good results. Here it is. Oh. Beautiful. Smooth and confident.
Nice double axel.
And look at the extension and beautiful exit out of that jump. What an innovative step sequence. Very original.
Coming up the triple toe. Again, not the difficulty of Tara's triple flip. Beautiful. Again, the short program, the do or die situation.
Great position in the sit spin. Look at the beautiful arabesque position. No one has done it that well this evening.
Choreography by Lori Nickel, who actually is not here to watch Michelle skate. She's actually with her son in the Bahamas. She figured she'd done her job. It was now up to Michelle.
And Michelle has done her job. The last combination spin. Once again, we see perfection.
Absolutely perfect. Good for her.
Michelle Kwan turns in a perfect short program, and Roz, a lot of the time you compete the way you practice, and that is what has happened here at the Olympic Games. Technical perfection within the jumps. She's so centered right over her right side so that she can land them perfectly.
Here a look at the triple toe. Step sequence before. Taking the time on the preparation and perfect leg position in the air. Beautiful, beautiful positions. And look at this spiral.
That takes so much work off the ice to have an extension like that with the toe pointed out so well. Her coach, Frank Carroll, on the right. The moment they've been waiting for, and what a nice moment it is. A low of 5.6 from the French judge,
5.8, 5.7, and 5.6.
but mostly 5.8s.
Presentation.
Here we go with the presentation.
5.9s across the board.
At the National Championships, it was 7 6.0s. She's not far off here in the presentation. Michelle Kwan, delighted.
Well, we're thrilled to have with us on the set Frank Carroll, the coach of Michelle Kwan, who's right now sitting in first place. You've been in this position before, actually, with Linda Frediani in Lake Placid. Are you having flashbacks or any memories?
Well, yes, sort of. Anxious memories. It's not easy, and I'm very nervous. It's in between, the short and the long, and I wish I could be at peace, but I'm not.
You tossed and turned last night, you said, after the short program in bed.
Yes, I thought, well, that's one round down, but the big one's yet to go, and so, it's a very difficult position to be in.
What was the last thing you said to Michelle as she skated out for the short program?
Well, I try to reinforce the fact that she's very well trained and that nobody could prepare any better than she has, and that I know she can do it, she knows she can do it. Go out and do it.
Mm-hmm. And what, when she nailed basically the hardest element, the combination, do you at that point relax a little bit, or are you sort of tense throughout the whole program?
No, I don't relax because, it's not over. You can't lose concentration till that final note of the music, and she understands that too. You can't let up in a short program till everything is done and until the music stops.
So when it was over,
yes,
did you
absolutely.
let up a little bit? And she was thrilled with her marks, obviously.
Yes, she was very happy. Of course, I think you're delighted when you do a good, clean short anyway. I mean, it's a relief.
Going into the long program, you've changed some of the technical side since Nationals. Why is that? Has that been a risk, do you think?
Well, actually, we haven't changed the technical since Nationals. Before Nationals, we had to because of her stress fracture. And the foot is not completely healed yet, but it's getting better. We're limited to the number of triple toe loops we can do, which is the most difficult jump on her foot at this point.
Now, leading up to Nationals, because of the injury, she didn't train as much and as hard as she wanted to, and yet she went out there and laid down that program and got all the 6.0s. Do you think she can repeat that magic here?
I certainly hope so. I mean, that's sort of up to, Michelle Kwan and God, so, I sincerely hope so. And she's very well prepared, and, I just hope for the best for her.
How have you been shielding her from all the pressure and the distractions leading up to the Olympics?
Well, I think it's been very good that she hasn't really watched television. She hasn't seen the magazines that are out at home, and she really hasn't been reading the papers. She's been with her family, and they've been going out for Chinese dinners, and, they've had a very nice time together, but a very laid-back, quiet time. So she doesn't know much about the hoopla that perhaps is going on at home.
But she's also not staying in the village. She's sort of keeping to herself. Do you find that that's gypping her a little of her Olympic experience?
Well, not at all. First of all, she's not staying at the village because I'm not permitted to stay at the village. And Michelle and I do a great deal of off-ice work together on jumping and things, especially with the fact that her time on the ice is limited because of injury. And so I want her in proximity to me so that we can get together. That's impossible because I have no transportation back and forth to the village or any access really to her. So I wanted her to be close to me so we could work together.
Now, she's been skating perfect practices, going through the long program cleanly. Is that because the program is so well suited to her?
I think it's really because she's such a disciplined athlete. And I think, our sport is based on discipline much more than it is talent, and I think that she's put that in perspective and has worked very hard.
So you were very close in Lake Placid with Linda Frediani, and she came second. How will you feel this time around if Michelle can win?
Well, I would be delighted. It would be the highlight of my career as a coach, and the years I've worked and put into it. But, what will be, will be. I'm very philosophical about that. And, it's up to God and Michelle Kwan.
We wish you the best of luck. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
back to the Cutting Edge, and Peter, welcome back to the set.
I missed you guys.
We missed you too.
We're a
Let's talk
team.
about one short program that did not work out. Nicole Bobek.
Well, it just didn't work out. I mean, it was an absolute disaster. She had 3 major mistakes, and really one of the only skaters that made more than one. I mean, she missed that combination jump. She went down hard, and her whole body language was just, I give up. I mean, the whole look on her face, whether it was nerves or it doesn't matter what it was, you still fight through the rest of the program. I mean, she missed the double axel. That's such an easy jump for her. Now, we've talked about her work ethic. She doesn't run through her programs, which can affect stamina and confidence. At home, she's known a bit of a wild child, a party animal. And you know what? You can't rely on natural talent. It doesn't matter. When you get to that moment and you have to put it together, you need all that training behind you, and you have to respect your talent. You can't have disrespect for yourself and then just expect to all of a sudden be on the podium. I think 17th was more of a shock than we were expecting, but now she's got a serious fight in front of her.
Absolutely.
She does have a real fight ahead of her, but I think it's a little bit past due. You cannot have talent be the only thing that will take you through the Olympic Games. I know for me, it was always ambition over talent. I think back to Christopher Bowman. He had it all. When the moment came, it didn't surface. So for Nicole, she may look back and say, just why didn't I pull it together? Why didn't I work? Why wasn't I prepared? That's a terrible question you have to ask yourself once the dust settles.
Yeah.
Well, here's a look at the current standings after the short program. Michelle Kwan and Tara Lipinski command the top spots for the U.S., followed closely by Russia's Maria Butyrskaya and Lu Chen of China, both poised for the bronze. A disappointed Nicole Bobek is completely out of it, down in 17th place. Now here's what the arena looked like minutes after the final performance on Wednesday. As the crowd shuffled out, another area of White Ring sprung into action. Peter has the scoop.
Okay, we're down here at the ice level. This is where all the action is after the skaters get off the ice. Short program for the ladies is finished. The only place that the print journalists and the photojournalists can stand to get a word with the skaters. Okay, well, a lot of action over here right now, but we're gonna go see the press center. There's something going on over there. Come on.
Oh, I saw a couple of 6-0 floods.
What did you think of the event tonight?
I thought it was a wonderful evening, just exquisite. It was a shame some of the top competitors had to take themselves out of contention, but hey, we got our money's worth this evening from Kwan and from Lipinski.
Now, you're getting this ready for your issue. When does this have to be out?
In about 10 minutes, but I'm still cool, calm, and collected, so there's no problem.
10 minutes?
Hi, Mom.
So, what'd you think of the evening so far?
The 2 girls, 2 Americans, blew everybody away, and there was just a real gap, I think, between them and the 3rd place, Butyrskaya.
Finding out anything interesting?
I don't speak English.
What's going on, Steve? What'd you think?
It's what we expected, right from the free skate in the World Championship last year. They come down to these two. It's a tale of 2 American teams.
This place is hopping most of the time. Do you guys ever bounce ideas off each other?
No, never. We don't talk to each other, which is a very cutthroat, competitive situation.
So after news conferences and press conferences, it all ends up right here.
Just what a writer needs when they're on deadline. Carruthers in their face.
Hey, that was really fun, though, to run around and see those guys. We know the TV end, but the print journalists have it pretty tough.
We've gotten to know them real well. In fact, Peter, do your Phil Hirsch from Chicago Tribune imitation.
Phil's actually a friend, so I don't want to insult him, but he knows a lot about skating, and there's this big controversy about the Lutz, the Flutz, what is it? We're not going to go into this, but I asked Phil, he goes, obviously it was a Flutz, and everybody in the media knows what it is. You know, just when he said that, it's like, it shows you how these journalists are so into skating these days.
We all are.
Yeah, we are the cutting edge anyway.
And you've kept us laughing since we've been here. Thank you, Peter.
It's obviously a Flutz, though.
Okay, how's this all going to end? How's it going to play out? Can I go first this time?
You go. Break character.
Okay.
Here.
Michelle Kwan, I think it's her moment. I think Tara will be second, and I'm going with Butyrskaya third.
Okay, Roz, how about you?
Kwan, Lipinski, Lu Chen. Lulu.
Ooh,
Yeah.
wow.
She's she's stunning out there, and I think she's got that edge now after that short program.
Well, I have to go with Kwan, Lipinski, and Butyrskaya, because I remember back a few days ago when she said to that print journalist, and he said, "Maria, go for the bronze." She said, "No, silver." "No, gold." So I think she's going to be up there.
All right, you're ganging up against me.
Okay.
All right.
That's it for today. We'll see you later on The Cutting Edge.
With more on their story.
Yes, we're talking about one down and one to go. It's really amazing for America's dynamic duo in women's figure skating. Of course, Michelle Kwan and Tara Lipinski will go for the gold medal. But one question now is, what are they doing to mentally prepare themselves? After dreamlike performances in last night's ladies' short program, it was back to earth today for medal contenders Michelle Kwan and Tara Lipinski. As the two top competitors practice at White Ring, Kwan faced a challenge, and that is how to put last night's performance behind her and to start focusing on tomorrow night's big skate.
Here I am now, and I feel pretty good. I mean, really good, and my foot's not bothering me at all, and just have to focus on Friday competition.
But how well is the gold medal favorite holding up in the Olympic pressure cooker? Well, Michelle's coach says she thrives on it.
She's a real competitor, and she likes the anxiety. She likes being around the competitors, and she enjoys going out there and doing it.
Meanwhile, runner-up Lipinski is feeling fine as well. Now, one might expect a few frayed nerves heading into tomorrow night's do-or-die-long program, but not for Tara, who claims that the hard part is now behind her.
I feel even a little less nervous than in the short, because the short is pretty much the hardest part, and it sets you up. You want to be in the top 3 for the long, so I feel a little more relaxed.
However, U.S. Figure skater, her name is Nicole Bobek, she's feeling anything but relaxed today, that is for sure. In case you're one of the few people who haven't heard, she fell in her first jump after her attempt last night and never fully recovered. And then during practice today, she was even shakier. After several botched routines, the teary-eyed skater left the ice. Bobek is currently in 17th position heading into tomorrow night's long program. That's it from Nagano, Japan right now. We'll be back a little bit later on, but for Gretchen Carr, I'm Jim Hill, CBS 2 News, Nagano, Japan at the Winter Olympics. Ann and Mike, back to you.
The year was 1992, Albertville, France, and Christy Yamaguchi skates to a gold medal for the United States of America. Another great Olympic moment.
Well, as you can imagine, being an Olympic judge is one of the most challenging and highly scrutinized jobs in the Nagano Olympics. So exactly how does a judge determine a skater's score? Gretchen Carr, who joins us live from Nagano, talked to a judge and found out for us. Gretchen.
Yeah, that's a big question for a lot of people. How do Olympic skating judges come up with the score? Is it an objective analysis or is it a political statement at times? Sometimes it's difficult to tell. In tonight's cover story, we talk with an Olympic judge who shows us what really goes into those skating scores.
Right into triple flip.
It's a moment that can bring glory. It is also a moment that can bring despair. A jump is one of the toughest moves a skater can make. Land it, and the crowd adores you. Lose it, the whole world feels your pain. A fall can be costly. It can lead to an automatic 0.4 of a point deduction. But even though it can make or break a skater's performance, nailing a difficult jump isn't the only thing the judges are looking for.
There's many variations of errors, then the judges know exactly what to deduct.
Sally Stapleford has a very important job at these Winter Games. She presides over the judges. She is the Olympic skating referee. Stapleford says the judges are looking for a lot of things. Presentation is extremely crucial.
There's 8 very clear ingredients of what you're looking for. Style, originality, harmonious composition, musical timing, etc., etc. And they're very clearly laid down. So it's not just an opinion of the judge. It is a very clear criteria.
The short program counts for 1/3 of the total score. The long program makes up the other 2/3. Stapleford says there are distinct differences between the two events.
So in the ladies' event, the free skating program lasts 4 minutes, and there's much more freedom. They have to have a minimum of 4 spins. They have to have a combination jump. They mustn't do more than 3 different triple jumps, whereas the short program is set elements, 8 of them.
And the judges will be watching closely for all of those elements in the long program. Now, as we've been checking out
composed an aria at age 3, and that Rembrandt brushed his first strokes before he could talk. So how young was Michelle Kwan when she laced up her first skates? Steve Hartman joins us now with an answer. Steve.
Michelle Kwan, this is your life. Tonight we're going back to the beginning of her success story. And not only the very first chapter of that story, but in fact, the very first page.
Before she was at the Olympics, before she was at Nationals, before she was even worth a mention in the local newspaper, Michelle Kwan was at the mall. Just another 3-year-old in a pair of cheap rentals. This is the ice chalet at the shops at Palos Verdes. The first time Michelle Kwan ever stepped on ice, it was across this very threshold. The first time she ever took a lesson, it was this very class.
Good job.
They call it TOTS 1.
And dip.
Sarah Clapper actually took this class with Michelle. Now she teaches the class.
It's weird to look back on it and see like, wow, we used to be like that.
And to think a kid could go from this to the Olympics in less than 15 years. How long have you been skating?
About a half hour.
Are you good?
Yeah.
Can you go out and show me a double axel? Good. It took Michelle 14 years to advance from this, to this, to this, and now this. And as Southern California waits to see how far she will go, kids here will be thinking about how far she's already gone, and no doubt wondering if they could possibly be next. Now, if you're wondering if Michelle was a standout even back then, no, not really. The instructor in charge at the time just remembers her as this kid who wouldn't get off the ice and kept getting in everybody else's way. Anna, Mike.
We're all looking. Has come this far to the Olympic Games, to the threshold of a gold medal after a lifetime of training and preparation. CBS Sports spent the better part of this past year with Michelle, and for her, what a time it has been.
The date is February 18th, 1997. 1 year to the day from the start of the ladies' short program at the 1998 Winter Olympics in Japan. American figure skater Michelle Kwan has just returned from the U.S. Championships, where she places second to Tara Lipinski. She is writing of it in her diary.
It was very difficult. I mean, there was a lot of pressure saying, oh, you're going to win, and there were so many expectations, and when I didn't achieve that goal that everybody wanted me to, it was kind of disappointing. But in a way, it was a lesson that I needed to learn because, you know, some days you're going to get second or not skate well.
One month later, at the World Championships in Lausanne, Switzerland, things didn't change much. Kwan stumbles in her short program.
Well, in the short program, I did have a slight bobble on the triple lutz, and I got off the ice going, oh, what happened? You know, why did I land that stupid triple lutz? I mean, I could close my eyes right now and do it again. Can't I do it over? I mean, that was that split second, and you made a mistake, and there's nothing you can do.
Although she skates a flawless free program, she once again places second to Tara Lipinski. Michelle returns home to Lake Arrowhead, California. There she spends time with her family.
Now, let's practice the power stroking.
And works with her coach, Frank Carroll. It's a time to restore confidence, work out the bugs, and most importantly, get her new Olympic programs together.
I think I'm starting right now, trying to get all my thoughts together for the Olympics. It's been hard thinking about it. Too much is not too good. You know, you think, oh, what's gonna happen? Oh my God, you know, like it's coming out right around the corner, and it's always a big question mark because what's gonna happen? And even until now, I'm like still shaking whenever I think about it because I'm like, this is the moment that I've been waiting for since I was 5 years old. But I have to think about it, it's an opportunity wide open for anybody to take the gold medal or just to skate well. You know, the doors open and everybody's welcome.
Happy birthday to you. During the summer, Michelle stars in a skating tour across America. Her life now is on the road.
Teach me how to play, because I play terrible.
I think it's good to have a competitor to always keep you on track. I've always liked the challenge of it, and I've been fine with Tara. I mean, we're good friends, and we still look at each other and we're like, I can't believe I'm competing against her soon, you know? And here in exhibition, we're all having fun. And then a couple months later, we'll be competing against each other. We're like, oh my God, can't believe it.
Michelle and Tara's first rematch of the Olympic season takes place in October at Skate America, in the town where Lipinski lives and trains, Detroit. Kwan skates incredibly well. She puts to rest the doubts others have about her ability and wins the event, well ahead of Lipinski.
At Skate America, I was awesome. You know, I skated really well, and I felt great, and I was there.
Our next guest is a world champion figure skater and the author of this new book entitled Heart of a Champion. Here is the very talented, very charming Michelle Kwan. And suddenly you realize, you know, win or lose, I love this sport so much that it reinvigorated you.
Well, I almost killed myself at nationals. I mean, I tortured myself. I was like, oh God, I have to skate well, I have to do clean, I have to do perfect, and I have to win. And I realized, you know, this is only a sport. I'm only here to have fun, so enjoy it and, you know, don't worry about anything else.
Yeah. Did you ever run into that Tonya Harding at all?
Ever since I was little, I always wanted to be famous. I wanted to be like Michael Jordan on ice. Hi, I'm Michelle Kwan. This winter, I'll be skating for the gold medal in Nagano, Japan. People want interviews and photo shoots and stuff, and I think it's very exciting for me because this is a time of my life. This is all I've ever wanted, and now it's coming true, so I should enjoy it.
All is well for Michelle. Both her confidence and her skating are soaring. But suddenly, something unexpected happens. She starts to experience pain in her left foot, a pain she is not familiar with, and there is doubt about her next competition.
Well, I didn't want her really to go to Skate Canada because I felt that it really probably would just not be good on the foot, and that I felt that, you know, it probably would be painful for her. But I think Michelle, on the other hand, skated Skate America so well, didn't feel that necessarily it was taking a risk, that she felt good about her skating and felt on top of her sport, and, you know, why not go for another competition when, you know, everything's going well.
At Skate Canada, Michelle's injury becomes apparent. Now, for the first time in her young career, she must face the fear of the unknown, pain and injury.
I was a little scared, you know, going into the competition, and I was thinking, am I going to make it through it? What happens if, you know, my triple toe in the log program's the second jump? And I was thinking, oh, what happens if it starts hurting so much that I can't keep on going? What's going to happen? Because I've never wanted to drop out of a competition, you know. I've never dropped out of a competition before, so I didn't want to make it a habit, so I was like, I'm going to tough it out, man. And so then the last triple toe, I walked into it, and I did it, you know. I was like, cool, I did it. And then my foot was like pounding, and then I went into the butterfly spin, and I jumped out of my left foot. And the foot just gave up and gave in, and I just went boom on a spin, and I got up and I was like, oh God, it's done, oh well. Afterwards, I took my skates off, started walking, and it didn't feel right, like it ached.
With just 3 months until the start of the Winter Games, Michelle Kwan has a cast put on her leg. The diagnosis, a stress fracture to her 4th toe on her left foot.
It's a little frightening. I mean, to be thinking it's only a couple more months till the Olympics, and here I am with a cast. And there's nothing I can do, though. It's probably better that I have it on now instead of fracturing my foot or my toe during the Olympics or the Nationals.
In November, Michelle misses NHK, the Olympic test event in Nagano, Japan. She stays home and catches up on her studies. She has now been off the ice for 4 weeks. There is serious concern.
I'm using them in sentences, but this is a specific section just on adverbs.
December, Michelle misses another important competition, the Champion Series final. At last, doctors feel she can return to the ice. The U.S. Nationals are only weeks away. Christmas time at the Kwan household finds more than presents under the tree.
Quiet, ladybug. I knew it, ladybug. You know, there was some thought coming from my dad, because he was watching me skate like a couple weeks ago, and he was like, you're not skating that well. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I knew in the back of my mind that I could do it, that I was going to be ready for the Nationals.
January, the U.S. Nationals in Philadelphia. Michelle's first public practice in over 2 months draws a crowd. And sharing the ice with her is Tara Lipinski. While still painful, Michelle's practice goes well. Yet some observers question whether she is ready to skate.
A lot of people said, why don't you get a bye and rest? But I was like, no way. There's no way I'm not going to do that. You know, if I can walk, I can skate. And I didn't really think about it because, like, I want to be at Nationals. I want to compete. And I want to get that spot. I don't want to be, like, given to me.
Both Michelle's short and long programs at the Nationals are mesmerizing. She wins, and in the process, earns 15 perfect 6.0 scores, more than any other skater in the history of the event.
I didn't do a winning program until I got here, and that was 3 days ago. And, you know, it's hard because your confidence level is down. You know you can do it, but you're not doing it. And when I was out here, I was just like, let it happen, enjoy it. While it lasts. I mean, how many times do you get to see a crowd like that? I see, like, we love you, Michelle, we love you, we love you. I mean, what a feeling. I mean, I got out there and I was like, okay, can I get off now? I just had this, I enjoyed myself so much. And
well, how many times do you think the crowd gets to see a program like that? I mean, you had 15 sixes out of 36 marks.
I don't know what to say. What is perfection, though?
That's pretty close.
I don't know. I mean, I don't consider it perfected yet. You know, I still have a lot of things to work on and things to look forward to in Nagano, and I can't wait to go. And I'm actually going to the Olympics. I can't wait.
And not as an alternate.
No, not at all. I'm going now. I'm going.
Leading to Olympic gold? Well, based on the short program, you would think so. Michelle Kwan is on top of the competition, but the long program still to come. And when we come back, we're going out to White Ring. There's Lu Chen on the left. She's in 4th position right now. And Michelle on the right will join our gang at White Ring. We'll hear about Michelle Kwan's practice, Tara Lipinski, when we continue from Nagano in a moment. Tara Lipinski are positioned 1-2 going into the free program of ladies figure skating. Either could take home the gold, but don't also forget about Russia's Maria Butyrskaya, who is in 3rd place. And if there are miscues by Lipinski or Kwan, she could in fact vault to the top if she skates cleanly. All right, all the ladies are getting in some final practice right now. We go out to Verne Lundquist at White Ring for more.
Final group of skaters on the White Ring ice for their final run-through prior to the free skate. And the first on the ice, Leading in the competition, Michelle Kwan.
They play the music in these last practice sessions, same order that they'll be performed in the competition. Michelle Kwan is the first after the warm-up, the final group. She opens with triple Lutz. Double toe loop.
Scott, does that first position matter, that she's skating first?
It's kind of nice, actually, that your feet are kind of under you from the warm-up. The ice is familiar to you. You've just warmed up for 5-6 minutes. The only disadvantage you have coming out of the warm-up is you really don't get to take advantage of the entire warm-up because you don't want to be tired at the beginning of your program. So you warm up quickly, efficiently, you rest for the last minute or so, get your thoughts and go out. Where if you were skating later, you take the entire warm-up. It's the only difference as far as negative aspect. Triple flip, beautiful.
Her dad, Danny Kwan, 42 years old, watches from the stands.
And this isn't choreography, obviously. You can tell that. They're just walking the program. Again, it's all about comfort. It's checking out the jumping passes, making sure your timing is right. Each surface of ice is a little bit different, not only in the texture of the ice, but the size, lighting. These are all things you need to get used to. Makes the performance rink different than practice rinks. One thing that makes this surface unique to a lot of the North American ice surfaces is its size. It's Olympic size, a little bit wider, a little bit longer. Beautiful triple loop. Michelle just looks so in control. Confident, comfortable. Again, just walking the program, doing the jumping passes, and it's all for comfort.
While the music is being played for Michelle Kwan's free skate, Tara Lipinski, the 15-year-old world champion, continues to warm up. She will skate next to last in the free skate, so her music for the program will not be played for quite some time.
Triple flip was doubled. It's kind of fun to watch Tara and Michelle because you think that any jumping pass is significant. You try to put importance on it, but I've been in events where I've seen Michelle miss every jump. Beautiful triple sow in the warm-up right before she skates, and she kind of puts her guards on, kind of whatever, kind of goes out and just clean run through. So warm-ups have very little to do with what's going to actually happen in the event. Both of them have great concentration, consistency.
At the end of the short program, Michelle Kwan has the lead, Tara Lipinski second. Maria Butyrskaya, who will be the last to skate in the free skate, was the first to skate the other night, and she stands third. Lu Chen of China is fourth, the bronze medalist from Lillehammer. Then Slutskaya and Bonaly. Can Michelle Kwan be beaten, Scott?
Not if she skates her best. Looking at the ordinals and the marks the other night, the difference between first and second place, difference between Michelle and Tara by many of the judges was 3-4 tenths of a point. And that means that they really feel that she's the best skater by a lot. Those particular judges, if Michelle makes a mistake, that's a couple tenths. So, it's all fine. She can make that mistake, that one mistake, and probably still win the gold medal.
Is there a chance if she makes two mistakes she can still win it?
It depends on Tara. Tara's really the one that can beat her, and Tara needs to skate clean. No matter what, Tara needs to skate clean. And again, any mistake made by Michelle, one will be forgiven probably because the judges look at her as being 3-4 tenths better than Tara Lipinski. But again, both of them have to skate clean in order to really assure themselves of the medal that they want.
Would you be shocked if these two didn't finish first and second?
I really would, and the only way that can happen is if they have a disastrous performance. They're the best two skaters in the world. Tara Lipinski is the reigning world champion. Michelle Kwan won the Worlds 2 years ago. And it's just, these are the two best skaters in the world. If they skate anywhere near their potential, they're 1 and 2.
There's a very real chance, of course, of a 1-2 finish for the American ladies. There was a lot of talk about an American sweep before the short program. Nicole Bobek came in as the United States bronze medalist. Earlier, this was Nicole in practice here. She had a disastrous short program. She fell on just about everything 2 nights ago and wound up in 17th position.
Well, the double axels didn't give her problems, but the triple loop gave her a problem, and so did the triple Lutz. The triple Lutz that she missed at the beginning of her short program, again, in practice today. So, you know, you got to rally. You've got to, you know, figure out what she's going to do. So she gets on the phone. She calls somebody. You know, how far do those cell phones reach? Well, you know, maybe across the building. Talks to her mother, and her mother's going, Nicole, hi, how are you, sweetie? Why don't you just stand up on the next triple loop you try? Okay, that'll help, all right? So Nicole went back out, got off the phone, triple loop.
And after her practice, Nicole talked about her current state of mind.
Yesterday I had a real disastrous practice. I couldn't get under my feet. I was feeling very down. I didn't sleep all night before. I didn't really sleep last night, just consistently running through my head over and over and over what can happen. And it's hard when you're out there because, like in my short, you know, I wanted to do it so bad, and it was like no matter how hard I tried, it just wasn't happening. And when something like that happens, it's extremely frustrating, and you don't know what to do, because no matter how much you put into it, it's not happening. And your feet weren't under you, and my confidence level was great, but I just wasn't under my feet. And going into the long, you know, I keep telling myself I have nothing to lose, you know, just go for it. And that's there, but, you know, I still have to worry that something might happen in the short again, even though I'm telling myself, don't think like that. It's hard not to.
Very experienced international world competitor. She'll find a way to turn in a good performance. You just got to shake it off, and it's tough. You know, you expect to maybe be in the running for a medal. You're 17th, no shot at even being top 10. You've just got to rally.
Here's the oldest of the ladies who will skate in the final group. 25-year-old Maria Butyrskaya. She'll be the last to skate. Lu Chen, bronze medalist at the Lillehammer Olympics, world champion in 1995, trying to come back from really an abysmal year with injuries and political problems in China. Here's the order in which they will skate. Michelle Kwan, Slutskaya, Chen, Bonaly, Lipinski, and Butyrskaya. Now let's go back to Jim Nance.
To talk to Tara. Here at White Ring today, the ladies were practicing hard, working towards their big night, the free skate. Now, after practice, I caught up with Tara Lipinski, who's in second place after the short program. Hi, Tara.
Hi.
So how was your practice today?
It was good. It feels good to go, you know, have such a great short program and go out with a lot of confidence and kind of come down a little bit for tomorrow.
For nearly an hour today, Tara, along with U.S. teammate Michelle Kwan and the other 4 top ladies, finessed their long programs. While Tara's focus now is on this more important event, she's still glowing from her short performance. Can you give me a highlight or two from your short program that really made you feel up?
I felt one of my strengths was, you know, skating fast last night, and also just emotionally I felt that everything seemed to come together. I was relieved to do my triple flip.
A little over a month ago at the U.S. Championships, Tara Lipinski fell doing her triple flip. Last night, she landed that same jump cleanly, and the relief and joy was immediately apparent. I tell you, the smile on your face, the sun came up. You just had this smile, and boom, what made you so happy?
Well, just the relief of, you know, wanting something so much and going out there and doing it under pressure, under everything, and, you know, coming out so well and skating great and emotionally just having a great time.
Now, afterwards, you were on a cell phone. Who were you talking to?
My mom.
What were you saying?
Yeah, I was asking where she was because I wanted to see her, but I mean, we were just both excited that I skated great.
Now, you've been thinking about this for, I'll bet you it seems like forever. Was the reality as good as what your imagination thought it would be?
It was. You go out there and you have to block everything out, and once you get going, you can enjoy everything and look around you and say, you know, you're at the Olympics and you're skating great, and you'll always remember that.
Several years ago, Tara Lipinski never dreamed she'd even qualify for these Winter Games. But that changed last year when she became the youngest U.S. and world champion in history. Although recently she's been eclipsed by her teammate Michelle Kwan, she still says that's a pretty good spot to be in.
I love being in this spot, being the underdog. I've done so well this year, being second, and coming up and getting ready to compete and pretty motivated for tomorrow.
What do you do now between the short program and the free skate? What do you do mentally? Where do you go, or do you just live your life?
Well, you just do normal things and have fun and relax, and you feel a little relieved after the short, so it's a little nicer.
If last night's performance is any indication, Tara is close to achieving her lifelong dream of climbing the Olympic podium.